Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 273. With me, George, and this week, joined by Scotty, aka Marathon Gaming. He's brought all these props if you're a YouTube viewer, and he is Marathon Runner. So I can't even walk. Now, I want to pre-emphasize that comment, Scott, by while I was laid in bed playing with the crown jewels, you were up this morning, cracker sparrows, and full respect to you for a gamer. You done a 15-mile run this morning.
I had to, because they said marathon gaming is dead, was what they was telling me. And I said, what do you mean, our young apprentice? You know, our T-boy, he was giving RGT a lot of trouble. He was seeing him in his own reflection. Starting to think that our T-boy might be in at RGT, just him seeing his younger self. It said T-boy, said, you should not be wearing that name. How dare you just play games? Where's the marathon involved? And I said, do you know what? Hold my Rockstar energy drink. I'm going to run 15 miles before we do a show. And that's what's happened. So, I mean, last time you heard me, I turned heel. I don't know what version of me this really is, to be honest. I mean, the glasses are low. I feel a bit like The Rock a little bit. I feel a bit sexy.
Do you know what I feel this is? I reckon this is Hollywood Marathon Gaming. This is you.
Hollywood. Yes. Hollywood Marathon Gaming, yeah. I'm working for Vince McMahon direct. Absolutely. I'm wearing a suit. I'm coming out to the ring. I'm interfering with matches. I'm getting the crowd rallied up. Corporate marathon gaming. That is what we got right now. Corporate Kane's brother. Do you remember that era where he came one day? How ridiculous is that, right? A big guy in a red suit with a mask one day dropped everything and said, I'm just going to pretend I'm on the 302 up to Fenchurch Street and I'm just going to pretend I'm getting on this bus. And he just rocked up to the ring. He might as well have one of them fold-up bikes that the commuters had. He literally went full-on businessman, didn't he?
Well, weirder than that, I do believe that was inspired by his real-life push to be a senator. And he's now like a senator or governor of a state.
That is correct. You're right. That is true, actually.
Choke slam.
That's outrageous. Choked. I imagine the billboards, can't you? Choke slamming the opposition. Vote for Senator Kane. Yeah.
Tombstone pile driving immigration issues.
Here's what I'm doing about your... There's 1, 2, 3, that tax rise. Put it in a sleeper hole, baby. Oh, it's good to be back with you, George.
Straight out the fires of hell. Well, it's good to have you back. Obviously, you've been on your pan-European world tour promoting the show. How did that go?
Yeah, it was really, really good. I went with a lady who used to be on the app. You might be familiar with her. Big fan of the show. So we went on a world tour together. We went to Corfu.
Oh.
We went Devon before that. Then we went to Mexico, always promoting the show. That was the purposes. And
how did it go in Mexico?
It went very, very well. There was a bit of a language barrier at one point.
Yeah.
But you know what they say, scratch and sniff is universal. So I was just showing them the flyers, holding it up to their face. I said, can you smell that? And they went, la unofficial controller podcast. Sí. And I said, queso, which is Spanish for cheese, apparently. So we might have some new listeners, is what I'm hoping in. So in honour of Seb and Bobby, new listener. I should
imagine I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. We're leaving it in. That's a fact. We're producerless, though. I can't remember what the law was. I think we sacked him and rehired him one episode.
It was Phil, wasn't it? Yeah, you said you couldn't...
A.K.A. Brian.
Phil, a.k.a. Brian, you said you've rehired him and there's no way you could bring yourself to sacking an imaginary apprentice.
Well, off air, I ended up doing that.
Right, okay.
So now we've got... Well, we're producerless, so we're looking for producers. If you know a high-quality podcast producer, questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Great employee rights. We care about our people deep down. Massive, protection here. We've got an HR department run by me.
Pension's good.
Yeah.
Roles and duties include, but are not limited to. George, shall I just do one each? Roles and duties.
Yeah.
What would be included in a job role?
First one needs to be very vigorous massager.
Yep, vigorous massager. Also, he must have one arm slightly longer than the other.
Oh, El Paso. I tell you what,
Yep.
your extra time with the short-armed man, it's made you a little bit affectionate towards him, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. One thing that is really critical to the role, really, it's not more the experience, but you must have an outie belly button to be considered for this role.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me just, to the YouTube viewers, we can see George, he's not shrouded in darkness. What's going on? Well, we've spent some of your supporter money on a bulb. We're bankrupt. And also, seconds before going on air, the eagle-eyed viewers would know that in the background, I normally have the immortal Mike Brewer.
Yes.
Here he is. Look at this. To George keeps selling. Yeah, me and Mike are tight. Okay, that's why I'm a celebrity, baby, because I know people like Mike Brewer. Here he is again.
Oh, what a guy.
But now, I don't know whether this is foreshadowing, because Mike's slightly a rotund gentleman. I wouldn't think his cardiovascular activity is great. Did that fall, almost idol-like, predict a fall of the Brewer? Now, if I go on Dorset News later and find out that he's had a stumble and fall at the back door, or worst case, a little nibble of angina, I'm concerned about what this means. I don't want to imagine Mike Brewer walking around clutching his chest.
Manifestation is very true. So I think if we wish well and good things now, so if we create a scenario of what he's probably doing, so he's probably on one of those, those little steam trains you see that go around the park for children that the little kids sit on. I reckon he's probably having a really good time, but he's sitting on one of those. He's probably got like a 99 Cornetto, maybe a twisty lollipop. Yeah, I reckon he's probably got a nice backpack. It's probably full of like some nice beers, keeping him cool. He's got his family and kids waiting for him. He's probably walking a little poodle next to the train as he's going along, probably holding that. He's a bit out of breath.
Would he? I don't want to put in on this, but I don't know if he'd be a poodle owner. I think he's the sort of guy, stereotypical. I think he might have a British bulldog.
The thing is, that is what people think he would have. So, knowing his character, he likes to, always stay one step ahead of the trend. So he wants to keep people guessing on their toes. So he probably just goes down the kennel every night and just gets a different dog.
Right. And he does it up, puts a new collar on it, sells it for profit, goes down, picks another, dog with 3 legs, whatever, someone he can get Ed to stitch a leg onto. All of a sudden it's I never thought of this angle. What other things in his life do you think he brings this wheeler-dealer moment to?
Cosplay, I reckon.
What, so like he starts off with like a broken eye patch, and then before you know it, a week later he's going out dressed as Gabrielle?
I think he makes the costumes.
Himself?
Yeah, and I think that might be why RGT couldn't make the show today. I think he might be collared and chained up right now in a special costume. Something to visualise?
I often visualise him wearing nothing but collars and cuffs. The sort of thing a cheap stripper would have worn in the 80s. Bow tie.
Oh, that's not cheap. That is high class. Show me a stripper with a bow tie, and I'll tell you what, take my money.
I never envisaged that was a hallmark of quality. But now you
backless chaps.
Why waste time removing them? Just don't wear the backside. Simple. Now, I'm looking at you. You sat there in what looks to be a Bluetooth headset kind of scenario. You're wearing some high praise sunglasses there. Obviously, Ray-Ban, sponsor for next season. So we're obviously getting the promos in early.
Can I tell you why I've got glasses on? The bulb that the viewers have kindly gifted to us through the subscription service. It's George. It's so bright, right? I mean, normally you're dark, and I think, is he there or not? And I thought it might be a tactical thing. Sometimes I think I'm talking to myself, and you're in the toilet or something, or upstairs talking to Rachel. I don't even think you're there sometimes. But it's so bright today. I might have to go for like cataract. Honestly, I've got these glasses on. I've gone full.
I don't like it, but this is the things we do for YouTube. Primarily, we were an audio show. Then we've branched out, and it's been about as popular as Yeah, it's been about as popular as the Zune Media Player from Microsoft. So we're doing well for ourselves, but hopefully the uplifting camera quality, hopefully the uplifting lighting quality. I told a lie. I said camera quality. It's the same garbage we've always had. We've just bought a bulb. Thank you, listeners. This is how we're growing the show in 2025. We're using this money to provide us with a bulb. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I could get used to this, but if they're happy, they want it to keep continuing, we shall continue. With all that, like, frivolity out of the way, I suppose if we were to return to what would be called a normal show schedule, and I'm excited for this because obviously you've been on your world tour, but you left. Now, you've been living in limbo as far as I'm concerned because you encapsulated yourself in a time bubble pre Switch 2. Then you went on your world tour and you knew you had a Switch 2 waiting for you, so you couldn't do anything flagrant like buy a Switch 2 at the airport for £2,000.
No.
You couldn't do that. It's tax-free,
No.
though. But it's still a hell of a lot more than you'd pay anywhere else because we've got you. Now, you left in this time bubble. Now, I want to, if I may, go on like a journey through your life in the medium of being encapsulated within the Switch 1 ecosystem while the Switch 2 is around, and then how you felt upon arrival back. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, if Marathon Gaming, aka the Nintendo Switch's biggest advocate, went on holiday, a world tour promoting the show, if you didn't take your Switch 1, who are you? Or was this a save the marriage type trip? So let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, listen here, child. Grab yourself a brew. Massage that forehead with some nice moisturising cream because, well, it's not about to get dry. It's going to get real wet. So if you're in the front seats and those are the splash seats, you might want to take a step back because I'm going to take you for a ride, baby. Now, grab your toupee because we're going down this roller coaster. So I'm going to take you back to where it all started. So last time I was on the show, which I think was 2 shows ago, I missed, and then I was on. So I reminded, and it caught us by surprise, the Switch 2 was about to drop that week, and we kind of couldn't believe us. Yeah, I said it out loud, and I was like, it's coming out. So I was away. I need to give a big shout out to my friend and a very good friend of the show, big listener, Retro Ed UK, who I believe has done one of the shorts for us.
Oh, mate, seeing as you brought us here, Retro Ed, I'm grateful for everyone's submissions. Some of them done incredibly well. Some of them have put multiple submissions in, and they've done incredibly well. It's made my job of judging very difficult. Do I add them all up? Do I amalgamate the scores? Do I amalgamate the likes? Or is it individual videos? I don't even know what to do at this moment. But you give me a good problem. You give me a problem I like to have. One of the submissions from Retro Ed, may I say, I messaged him. He 100,000% understood the brief. And what he proffered up was possibly some of the finest video editing I've ever seen in my life. Genuinely, Retro Ed, if you want a full-time job, and I'm talking £20 a month, max budget, to roll those out like that, like a machine, feeding into the UCP. Look, I look like a crab, right? Who's probably found some rock star energy and he don't know what to do with himself. But that's how hyped up I am about ClipQuest. Thank you to everybody that submitted. Carlos, my one-man fan club. We've got HG Games. We've had Firm Returns. We've had Retro Ed. We've had Boba Loba. We've had Digital Monkery. I'm sure I've forgotten people. If I have, I'm sorry. Shout at me in community corrections. Tell me what a piece of dirt I am.
We might have had some more since we've recorded this show, so it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure there's some more to trickle through.
And Digital Monkery had a 30-second clip of some sea lashing up on a shore. And I didn't know whether that was him just saying, I'm chilling at the beach, or please upload this for views. I'm thinking I'll probably just upload it this afternoon. So anyway, take me, Retro Ed.
Yeah.
Standard legend.
What a legend. So, yeah, Retro Ed is a good friend of mine inside and outside the show. So he took delivery from Nintendo Direct. He's pally with them like that. He rang them up in Japan and he said, hey, I need a Switch for my boy Scott Marathon Gaming. And they said, Ed, no problem. So they sent it to Ed's house.
I'm sorry to derail, but I just need to know this one thing.
Yeah.
When you got back, was it sullied or unsullied? What had Retro Ed done to it? Had he left it protected in the corner like a good chaperone? Or did you find that there was a little bit of hair on that seal and you knew it had been popped?
Can I tell you something? It's a true story. It's absolutely hilarious. So the reason why I got a Switch from Ed was I was trying to get hold of one. Ed got one straight away. And then he realised that he probably didn't really want it. It's got a big backlog of games. He's got every computer. It's a bit like Ed's house is a bit like RGT's old shed. It has everything in it. You know, if there was a lockdown for 10 years, you'd be sorted if you were stuck in there. You really would.
Wow.
So he had the Switch. And he secured. He messaged me. He was like, I don't know why I'd done that. It was an impulse buy. I've got a backlog of games on the Switch One. He was like, I've heard you've been looking for one. Have you managed to get hold of one? And I said, well, I'm just about to purchase one now. And he goes, well, don't. You can have mine. I said, okay. So so I gave him. Obviously, I said, look, when they go take money, I'll send you the money for it. So it was nice and easy, simple deal. Now the package arrived while I was away. It sat there in Ed's house for about 5 days. He had to look at it each day, obviously, before coming down to work. Anyway, so he kept messaging me going, oh, I might get one, actually. He messaged back and forth. So I was messaging him. I said, look, mate, open it up, play it. It's no problem. I'll come pick it up when I'm back. I came back. I was very, very busy. So I must not have played it for a good whole week since it had been out. So I was back in the UK for a few days. And his message her back and forth. And I thought he must have opened it by now. Anyway, I've got round his house. And he's got one set up, and I was like, "Oh, I see you've opened it and you've set it up, sort of thing." And then I looked, and there's another Switch boxed up. I went, "Oh, that one's your one." He goes, "I panicked, so I brought another one." So Ed went from not wanting a Switch to buying 2 Nintendo Switch 2s, and I don't know how, but he had 2 delivered probably quicker than anyone could obtain one.
Mate,
It's pretty impressive.
I hate to say this, but as Georgie predicted, you can walk in any brick and mortar store now and just buy one off the shelf. And Nintendo did a great job of stockpiling and making sure.
Do you know what's so impressive, George? Is on the last show, you were saying about how well it done in America, and I knew that was going to be the case because I knew they were panicking about the tariffs, so they sent some early doors, which is why Japan had a problem with their own. So the fact that you said that blew my mind because I read an article this week. I didn't include it in the news, but I thought I'd just mention it now. There was a lot of trucks intercepted in a particular state or two in America, and apparently thousands, I'm talking over £1 million worth of Switch 2s went missing. So they're still coming into the country and being moved around. I don't know if they sent them to South America and moved them up land. But they've really done a fantastic job, Nintendo, of bearing in mind how much of a shambles it was with the scalpers on PS5 and Xbox. I think even if you're not a Nintendo fan, you need to really just, clap and pay respects. Because in the day, scalpers doesn't really affect the profit of these big companies. The fact that they was like, no, I'm not letting these scalpers do it. And people say Nintendo don't do things for the people. And I think that was really respectful and stand up of them, really, to make sure there was enough stock. Because I've seen people try and scalp in my area going, I've got one, 600-700 quid, trying to make £100 or two. And everyone's like, no thanks. I've seen all the messages where people go, have you still got it? They reply back, yeah. And they go, yeah, I'm not surprised, mate. There's plenty in stock at Smith's Toy Store. So it's beautiful to see. It really is.
It is. It really is. And I'll be honest with you. As you say, scalpers, it doesn't really make any difference to the company, but it puts a lot of bad ethos in the air. It creates a lot of bad feeling. If you remember PS5 and Series X, there was a lot of bad feeling about scalpers, quite rightly so. Even the portals suffered from a little bit of scalpage early doors. I struggled to get hold of one out the gates. But fair play to Nintendo, because I think most console manufacturers recognise that probably one of the biggest curves you can get on in terms of, buying excitement is making sure that it's readily available the minute it comes out. So you can just get on that, as Tom would call it, get on that hype train, get on that bandwagon and ride it. Now, I predict there's going to be a little bit of a knockoff during maybe mid to late August and into the early part of September. But after that, little Johnny's Christmas list is getting sent.
Oh,
those
for
Switch
sure.
2s are going to fly out the doors.
Yeah.
Now, that was a rather selfish interlude where I wanted to literally two-finger probe Retro Ed's Switch 2.
No, it's good to talk about it.
But
so
take me back to the James Bond-style imaginings of Marathon abroad with his Switch 1.
Oh no, we need to get into what happened after that, it's a bigger deal. Let's not talk about the Switch One. We'll
No, I
circle
want to.
back.
No, 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 no. Rewind. I want to know how it felt. Did you still get enjoyment? Did you start to suddenly feel like it was a dirty second cousin that you didn't want to be seen with around the poolside, with Emma Sharp bringing you a pina colada or whatever?
George, hand on heart, I didn't take it. Did not take it because I wanted to
Don't,
be
don't,
so.
don't,
I wanted to be so hungry
don't.
for the Switch 2. I wanted to be so hungry, so I needed to have like a good 1 week of no games. I wanted to be a real shock factor. I wanted to have withdrawal. I wanted to be itching. I wanted that fix. So I wanted to feel those headaches at the end of the day because I haven't seen Zelda run at 10 FPS. I wanted to, I wanted to have these feelings. So when I was away, I went cold turkey. I didn't play any video games. So then when I came back, I really wanted to be like, right. And I'm glad because I was so busy and I really struggled to sync up calendars to come and see Ed. And he was being really good to make himself available as much as he could. And then when I went to go and actually grab the system, obviously he was unpacking his with his son, which was nice to see. And I saw he gave me, we looked at it together, and he had the Switch One next to it because you need to. It's not exactly like an iPhone to iPhone sync up. You've got to have them both powered in. It can for a child to do. I reckon it's quite a stretch, syncing your account to a new one. For an adult, it's like a 10-minute faff, which isn't a problem. But yeah, he had the Switch One there, and I was like, oh my god, it looks like a toy. It really does. It looks like a piece of plastic and toy. And then you look at the Switch, and it's so superior to Switch 2 to Switch 1. I don't want to go on about it too much because I know it's been covered and you guys have spoke about it
But
quite a bit.
We haven't got the main vein from Nintendo. We haven't got Miyamoto-san's illegitimate love child on air until this moment. Now we do. We need to know.
Yeah, side by side, like it just feels so much better and so much real. It doesn't feel like it doesn't even feel like the generation before it. It feels so old instantly next to it. It's really shocked me of how superior the Switch 2 to be. We knew exactly what RGT said in the last episode. We knew they had bigger, joysticks. We knew they sorted out drift. They had different connections for it. We knew they added ports. We knew we got a better screen. We knew we got bigger. We knew they'd done all these things, but seeing it and feeling it and breathing it, is a completely different thing. And when I saw it there, I was like, oh my God, this is another level. So as soon as I got home, it was very late and it was a weeknight on the old school night. I managed to set it up and I thought I'll set it up and then I'll go to bed. I set it up and I was like, right, I'll download Mario Kart, then I go to bed. Then I was like, right, I'll set it up, download Mario Kart, and then I'll do one tournament and go to bed. Anyway, fast forward, it's 4 a.m. I've only gone and got trophy on every 50cc cup. And then I'm like, hold my beer. I'm going to go and do the, what is the mode where it's like the races interlinked together. Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. So not just the race mode, they've got a new sort of mode on it. It's not the free mode on it, but where they all link up together. And then I was like, right, I'm going to do everyone like that. I wanted to milk every...
That's how I've been playing it primarily. I've been doing you race and then you do the road race and then you do the next circuit. And oh, mate, so good.
So good. But as I set the Switch 2 up, I just constantly was just sending picture, video, and voice note constantly to Ed, and I was like, "Oh my God, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Oh, this feels that." We was commenting on each other on every single little thing. I might try and see if I can upload the voice notes to Discord because it was quite funny, just us two back and forward. It was like we were sitting in a tech meeting and we was discussing every single component that the Switch 2 had to offer. And I was like, oh my God, the sound. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that.
Let's just pause there. You mentioned sound. I want to double back on that because obviously now on a pair of stereo headphones, even a cheap pair of stereo headphones, they can fake surround. Now, obviously, the Switch 2 with the right setup, it can also be surround. I'm struggling to get it to work because it outputs in a bit of a strange way for my decrepit old system, but I'm working on it. But the thing that blew me away was we've gone from just music in front of us, and sound effects in front of us, to being completely enveloped. Now, they never mentioned this, never talked about this. Now, I know if you get that £10 sort of Switch 2, intro package, whatever it is, they detail some of this. But to the casual, or to me, the one who doesn't want to give Ninty another £10 to find out what my Switch 2 can do, I've been blown away by some of these extra bits that they've not even made a fanfare about. Incredible.
Yeah, I haven't even. I played it docked first of all, and then I played it undocked. But I didn't put headphones in. I just literally had it on speaker out loud. But I have got a very very good bespoke Nintendo headset, and I bought literally the best. I think it's a Steel Series one. I bought the most expensive one you could get for the Switch One when it came out. I did my research. I was like, right, this one was made for that system. So I am looking forward to checking out the sound on that. But yeah, I just found it absolutely beautiful. Really, really enjoyed it, and all I've played is Mario Kart World, so it's going to be a bit boring for what I played this week. But obviously, it's no surprise there. It's been very hot as well, almost too hot to play video games. I've started to go next door, and I've literally all I've done. I've gone next door out in the street. I filled up the neighbour's bin full of ice. I've got naked. I've sat in the bin, and I've just been peeking through the window and watching other people play games while I can cool down. So yeah, I was watching kid next door try and platinum FIFA the other day, just while cooling my body down. But when on
That's
the
how the
Mario Kart,
UCB does peeping toms, by the way. We turn up naked, empty your wheelie bin all over your drive, fill it with ice, and just stare at you through
oh
your
yeah, I
own
probably should
window.
say I had swimming shorts on just in case any officers are listening. I had swimming shorts on.
No, don't find it. We've got the money now. We can fight this legally. If you
Oh
want to
yeah,
go,
we can get the lawyers.
Yeah. Lionel the lawyer, Lionel Blair, coming back from season 1. He's a hot ticket in the law industry. He's solved nearly every single one of our legal issues, and it's cost us a lot of money, paid a lot of fines. But Lionel says it could have been worse.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ever wondered what a rhythm-based stealth game with dinosaurs might look like? Or a farming sim in space with zombies? Welcome to the Gaming Blender podcast. I'm Matt, and with my co-host Scott, we take a random game genre and random game mechanics, blend them all up, and pitch wild, totally hypothetical games you've never heard of, and maybe shouldn't. New episodes every other week. Hit play and unleash your inner game dev. No coding required. Search the Gaming Blender on your favourite podcast app now.
Hey, nothing's bigger than the show, so we need the legal battles to be there. Better call Sal. Better call somebody.
You Mario Kart World it up. Have you? Because this is going to lead into my what I've been playing. Because I have a new obsession. So, are you done, or have you got more to tell us?
No, I just want to talk more about it. Listen, I'm excited to hear about your Cyberpunk journey. Look, I know I'm going to follow your suit. Listen, I've been listening to the show, so I'm a big fan of the show as well as be a co-host. So I am going to follow suit with you. I'm going to get involved with Cyberpunk. I'm going to get involved with Star Wars Outlaws when it comes out. So I haven't double dipped like you, but I'm going to get involved. I can't wait to talk to you about it. We can have a nice cuddle, and we can bring tea back and have a nice shortbread and dunk it in there. But on Mario Kart, listen, I've not even gone online. So what I've done every trophy 50cc, every single one. Then I'm going to do it on 100cc, 150, and so on. So once I've done all the 50cc trophies, which I have done, and I was getting disappointed. I was like, oh my God, there's no Rainbow Road. How could they have done this? But once you do all the trophies, I think the last one's a Flower Cup. You unlock the Special Cup, and then you get the Rainbow Road. So it's been really interesting seeing the different maps, because some of them are like 8 laps. I found it's interesting of how different it is. Mm-hmm. Not just the traffic, like a completely different game, really. So it's really, really nice. And then, that sort of rally mode, I can't remember what it's called, where they all link up. I've done all of the 50cc of that. So I'm trying to play every single thing so I can really master it before going online. So I haven't even gone online yet. I'm really excited for it. I've got a couple of friends coming over this Friday. Ed's one of them. We're going to have a Mario. Going to be a couple of switches there. Going to have a big sort of Mario Kart night. So I'm really looking forward to that. And there's been so many characters and skins and vehicle customizations. Like, I won't stop doing that and go online until I've unlocked everything, because there's so much. Like, it starts off straight away a big one. I think Donkey Kong was the first character, and there were so many strange. Like, I've got a dolphin, like a Miss Toad, like the outfit for her. There's so many different characters loosely linked to Nintendo and the Mario world. It was really nice. It kind of reminded me of a bit like, I think they've looked at Super Smash Bros. Deluxe and they've gone, how come we had such a big player base retention on this game? People kept coming back. It's because they just kept on bringing character after character, free DLC. Every time you put the game on, bang, it was there. And I really think they put the effort in with this. And I love unlocking characters. I know I've spoken about it before. My favourite Mario Golf game was on the N64, because I find it better than the GameCube one, Toadstool Tour. I know everyone loves that because you have to beat the character to get the character. I love because we're old school gamers before this whole, pay money. Mum, can I have some money to get a new skin? You had to earn and unlock it. So I love just unlocking things. And when I scroll to the right and I see all these silhouettes of characters and you're trying to think, who are they? It's like the end of a Pokemon episode or before the break, it goes, guess the Pokemon. You're like, oh my God, who is that? And that's how I feel when I'm playing Mario Kart World. So, yeah, I'm going to be literally busting the back doors out of that one all the way, taking it home, playing every single mode, going online, and then I'll get paid next week. And I'm looking forward to venturing into some of the other games. I have heard an article that the third-party games have not been selling as well, but why would they? Because Nintendo have come out with such big hitters. They will pick up, but Mario Kart World is such a huge game.
Games haven't been selling very well. I'd probably have a lens on that because these third-party games. Let's take the big one, the one that seems to be kind of matched to the system. Cyberpunk. It's a 4-year-old game. Only the Ninty hardcore haven't played that yet, and out of that split of Ninty users. Who's interested in Cyberpunk? Probably not that many. So,
me and you.
Me and you as an example, but we're trying to pretend that we're bigger boys, aren't we? And don't want to get caught playing Mario Kart or something equally as childish in our eyes. But, people just don't know. You're like Jeff Goldblum. You're the Fly, as far as I'm concerned.
If anyone that can't see, I've got my glasses on upside down, wonky. I look a bit like a Elton John hybrid insect at the minute.
I would love to see Woodlouse John.
Listen, Woodlouse John wants to ask you a question, George, because...
Yes, ask away.
What have you been playing?
I look at how happy I am.
I sung that so well. My computer just prompted "play a music?" ? I sung it in such a high note. It's linked me to Shazam, and it's downloading the latest hit.
That's high praise. After I don't know how many hidden gems, probably not that many actually, because RGT spreads them thinner than a caterer spreads marge on a sandwich.
That's a good one, George. I like that. Do you know what? I want to sing praises a little bit. It was a long time ago, and there's one of your sayings I started using because it cracked me up. It was about 6 weeks ago or so, right? You said, it's like you're an ant with your back legs stuck in honey or something like that. And I've been using it at work, left, right and centre, and it's really wobbled people. Like whenever I've had my back against the wall, I don't know what to say. I've just hit them with that. I said, look, I'm trying my best. I'm an ant with my back legs stuck in honey. And they've gone, all right, okay, Scott, just get that report sorted Monday. It's got me out of a lot of situations, George, so I really want to thank you for that.
If anyone wants to use it in the audience, feel free. Everything on the UCP is there to be cut up, reused, and remarginalised. We want to be... We're that cult show that exists to provide people with memes. We've just not been found yet. I asked AI the other day, how's the show going? Apparently we've reached cult status. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but that's what they said. So it tickled my ego. So what have I been playing? Well, I've been playing a hell of a lot of Switch 2. Let's do some. I turned on the PS5 the other day and kind of flicked around, and I don't know why. I ended up playing a little bit of Balatro. I downloaded some new tractors on Farming Simulator, and then I was straight back on the Switch 2. Now, one of my latest obsessions is trying out my own library of Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 to see how they perform. May I say, sir, Switcher 3. Now, I'm not saying it looks like Cyberpunk. I'm not even going to suggest to you, even for a moment, that it looks like the one on the PS4 or even the PS5. It's still Switcher 3, baby. But let me tell you about it. It works. The draw distance is increased. The textures are higher. The frame rate's lifted up. The world suddenly feels more solid, more believable. And I don't know why, but I'm finding it even more enjoyable to continue playing it now than when I first started playing Switcher 3. So I'm very excited by that.
That's brilliant.
I've also started going through a round robin of all my other games, and they're all great. Now, when I'm not playing Switch 2, I'm on YouTube watching, is it Switched Up and people like that doing Switch 1 to Switch 2 comparisons, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know why I'm going to get off on it. Now, they had, I've circled around it many times. Black Sad on the Switch 1 store. Oh, that could be good. Great game to take on the go. That'd be great. And I never bought it, even when it was down to like £1.79. I don't know why. I'm guilty. Yeah, I'm guilty. If the developer's listening, I'm sorry. But they covered it, and they said it's gone from being unplayable, so I wiped my brow, so thank God I didn't get it then, to being very playable now. You can load up, the animations work, texture looks great, the visuals look better. It's got an adaptive frame rate, so we're up to pretty much 60 FPS now, and we're barely touching 30 before. So, oh, wow, And it's these little sort of gems of rediscovery or discovery that have taken, like Jurassic World Evolution worked on Switch 1, no doubt. Did it look a bit ropey at times? Yeah. Did it have long and frustrating load times? Yeah. Is it now playable in a very good way? You zoom in on the dinos and look, actually really quite good. Yeah, they do. So there's a lot to be said about the Switch 2 reviving those Switch 1 games that maybe you didn't notice them if you were only in the Switch ecosystem, but if you weren't, then you're a bit like, oh, God, this is a bit of a push.
You're right. It's upgraded the games from playable to enjoyable.
Yes.
That's what's happened. Because you always had a compromise on the Switch, but you were just happy it was on the Switch. So you stuck with it. You knew you was getting a lesser version. You knew there'd be features missing. You knew there'd be some graphical differences. And now the Switch 2 has given everything like a bit of a booster and, a bit of a redraw skin, freshened everything up a little bit, ray trace a few things. And now those games which were once playable on the old system, on the new machine, they are so enjoyable that you kind of forget that it's not a less version anymore. Let's face it, it's not. The game has changed. The players are the same, but the game has changed.
Do you know what I'm really enjoying about the Switch 2 is it's allowing me to get a tan as a gamer. I can take it outside, play it in the shade, admittedly, because in this burning red hot magma that we've got in the sky called the sun at the moment, you can't see, even if you had the most powerful nit screen in the world. It's a struggle, But you get in the shade, boom. This thing's lit up like a Christmas tree. Seasonal pun injected here. Now, what I also want to bring back, a couple of weeks ago when you were last on, when you were Jerry the King Marathon Gaming, now you're Hollywood Marathon Gaming.
Corporate.
Yeah, corporate gaming, corporate marathon, right? The heel turn no one saw coming. Now, what we brought back tea, and I had a phone call with the managing director of PG Tips.
Is that the monkey?
Yeah. He's a well-educated chimpanzee. He's learnt to speak English in the London Zoo in the 1940s. He's also the oldest chimpanzee ever living on record, and he wears a suit. He goes by the name of James Jameson.
Oh, James Jameson, yeah. Yeah. I know him very well, actually.
No, actually, what am I thinking? If we're using the UCP logic, his name's Peter Peterson from PG Tips.
Oh, I really thought you was trying to push us getting an Irish whiskey sponsor at one point. I thought that's clever. We're going to get a few bottles of Jameson sent over.
I never thought of that.
I thought that's what you was getting up to.
Like a trapped animal, I say whatever first comes to my mind. I don't actually think it through. I'm very reactionary. I don't think, I just speak. I think 273 episodes of the UCP prove that to be true. But one of the things I want to launch is, when on a hot day, you want to go out in the garden, okay? And
yes.
You go in the shed and you dust off the deck chairs and the patio ware, and you set it out in the grass, and it's plasticky or it's metal, and you sat there and it's a bit uncomfortable. And it's red hot to the touch as well. And it's not supportive. It's not upholstered. It's not sprung. You're just kind of sitting out on a bit of stretch fabric because it's hot. Oh, why am I doing this to myself? It's torture. No. I came up with a new vibe. Now, what you do is you take your rug out your front room. You go and lay it on your grass. You take 2 comfy armchairs from inside. You go out and you put them on the rug. Now, what you do is you go and get a little side table and pop that between you, and then bring out an indoor plant or a fake indoor plant and pop it on there. Now, I asked AI, I was like, what can we call this? Because this is a strange concept, but it's very relaxing to sit outside. And it feels unorthodox, but it also feels good to sit outside on an indoor chair outside.
Inside, outside.
And I asked AI, what shall I call this? And they came up with this idea, parlourcore. So I want everybody who's listening to this right now to rip their front room apart, go stick it in the back garden and sit out there with a cup of tea. Parlourcore. Now, I'm going to do that this afternoon with the Switch 2, and I'm going to lose myself Probably. I've got Cyberpunk. Yeah, I have. I've got Mario Kart World. Yeah, I have. I'm going out there to play Switcher 3, baby.
Game at al fresco, I think. It might be the other thing.
Fresco.
Listen. It's so basically this is probably the most gaming thing you've ever said. So obviously, as gamers, we try to avoid the sun and we'll sit inside in a sweatbox and we'll play games. We're scared of the outside world, right? You're such a gamer.
Terrified.
It's summer, and you thought, I know, I'll put inside outside. It's absolutely remarkable that your solution to getting some vitamin D and fresh air is just to move your whole house outside. I mean, you might as well move into Wembley Stadium because they've got a retractable roof, and you could just push the button. And you could be outside, and then when you've had too much sun and Mumsy's not putting any more ointment on your face to protect you, some sun blocker, you can put the roof back over.
I don't know what the budget version of that is. Maybe Mumsy holding a parasol over my head and then moving it dependent on the sun and my absorption of said rays. Because, there's not a lot of thatch up top, and it's not going to stop a nuclear explosion a few million miles away from damaging me.
Yeah, you need someone really. Maybe our new producer, if we can add that to job description, maybe he can hold an umbrella over you.
Yeah.
A bit like they do to the hot Japanese women. They follow them down the street and they keep them sheltered from the sun.
One thing he's going to need is a wide-brimmed hat and a camelback. Because he can't move, can he? So he might get burnt, or she, or they, or RTD2, as you so eloquently put it last week. Yeah, I've been howling about that for 2 weeks solid. I get in the car, see a flag, I'm like, oh, C3PO RTD2 plus. I'm done. Absolutely brilliant. I can't make sense of it, if I'm honest with you. So I just love it.
It made sense at the time.
It made sense to me.
Give it 5 years. Give it 5 years, and that would be a gender or a religion.
Episodes do mature like a fine wine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you said it last time. I mean, OG Thomas said some things 10 years ago that have come true today. So I do feel like in generations, when these cassettes are found by future miners looking for water, they will go, oh my God, these guys were speaking some truth ahead of their time. Once the console war is truly won by Nintendo, they're going to go, that's Scott, that George, that Bobby, that Seb, that OG Tom, that RGT. Those guys knew their games, baby.
They did. As Carlos pointed out in one of the shorts he created, bar top, gaming headset, gamer chair, high audio quality, thingy that makes your voice sound good, right? We've got everything. So
we've got sunglasses, the lot.
I'm a bit worried that's a pair of meta bands and you're actually recording me, recording you, recording each other. Except what the visuals are right now, this is your sort of highbrow sort of experiment and directorship where you're recording me at 30.
I'm an example of what happens when you get a homeless man off the street and try and get him to record a gaming podcast with you. That's who I am.
Now you look like Mike Brewer doing his budget cosplay of Gabrielle. Dreams can come true.
This is how Cyclops might wear the sunglasses to protect that third eye. And speaking of third eye, have you dipped your third eye in any more games?
No, can't say I have. It's basically been a Switch 2 loving. And by the way, for everyone who's interested, I'm wearing protection. I actually got that tempered glass screensaver.
Oh, well done.
Game changer.
Yes.
Just drop on, you get this little box, you get this little cassette, and it's got the screensaver in it. You don't even really need to clean your Switch. You just drop this maniacal looking thing on it. You press a couple of sides, you take that bit off, bam, you got a screensaver, baby.
I need to get one. I haven't even got a carry case.
Well, yes. Depends whether you want to go fat boy or slim. I went with the official slim carry case, and it suits me perfectly. I can almost put it in my back pocket. I have no stress. And with
I've just been tucking it. I've been tucking it into the front of my trousers and just standing at the bus stop and waving at ladies.
Hip hop gangsters, like you're almost carrying like a piece.
Yeah, I'm just posted up. I'm like, hey, look at my bulge.
That's to be fair.
Sometimes I'll tuck it into my sock. I'd also put the Switch in my sock as well.
Gangster. Wow. I'll be honest, I've always been concerned that you might graze it on the tarmac on some days because you don't take a lot of. You're a very energetic man. You leap around. You're very animated, and sometimes that can pull it clean up out of your sock. And I've been a little bit worried about that thing kind of just sort of getting gravel rash on it. Really, picking. You get home at the end of the day. Sometimes you're not always checking your junk like you should do, and you look down and it's kind of like got a chew-it wrapper wrapped round it, like I don't know, a hair bobble and one of those random baby's dummies you often see on the street.
I'll give some advice for anyone who has got a low dangling member. You can use the attachments to the Joy-Cons. That's on your wrist to stop them from flying into the telly.
Yeah.
Just attach that to your thigh and tuck it in. That'd be, if you're going to take one thing from the show this week, make sure it's that one.
I see.
I don't even know how to sync this to the news, but we're going to try.
I think you'd call that a schlong stirrup.
Yep.
Saddle, something like that. But I tell you what, it's time to saddle up. It's time for the news.
Yes.
We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, I've got my proverbial turkey teeth in, so let's go. Now, news, rumours and game releases. Now, the source for this news, seemingly, is Games Run. So, Lies of P reaches an impressive sales milestone. Lies of P has smashed its way past 3 million copies sold nearly 2 years after its launch across PC and consoles. This news comes on the heels of the release of Lies of P's DLC, which was shadow dropped on June 6, 2025. South Korean developer NeoWit struck gold with its dark spin on the classic tale of Pinocchio when it rolled out Lies of P in 2023. Despite being available as a day one title on Xbox Games Pass, the action RPG still managed to move units at an impressive rate, reaching sales of 1 million within a month of its arrival. Following this success, a new expansion called Lies of P Overdue was announced in February 2025 and was released to a positive reception. As expected, it now turns out that the launch of the DLC has reignited interest in the Souls-like title and pushed it towards another major commercial achievement. Well, it's nice to see a game like Lies of P taking a risk. Yes, it's kind of tied in its Dark Souls roots, no doubt, but it's taken a bit of a risk. It's come out with this game, and it's nice to see that the market has swollen to a size and or is appreciative enough of these what I call hard mode games, where there is now quite a buoyant market to prove that you are what I would call a seasoned gamer. Hey, bro, do you game? Oh, I play a little bit of Fortnite. Yeah, but do you Dark Souls? Because, the Dark Souls user to me is the kind of sort of person I would normally be without the lighting, hidden in darkness. A little bit of a shady operator, but so good on a dodge button that one wonders if he transferred that skill to his romantic life, he would be an unstoppable menace. What's your involvement with the Souls-like world? And is this Lies of P reaching its million titles sold milestone? What does that herald to you in terms of the industry?
In terms of Souls-like, for me, I am minimal involvement with them because I am what they call a pathetic loser when it comes to real adult games. And I find them very difficult. I cry some. Yeah, get good, bro. It's one of the things that your red-headed stepson often shouts through my window as he drives past in his Maserati. And he taunts me with that.
Shout that, let me tell you.
Do you know what? The other day, he just threw a platinum trophy through my window, and I looked at it, and it said, "Play Lives of P, get good, bro." And I was like, "Oh, Ginge, not again." So I haven't dabbled in it. What I was kind of thinking, I've seen this game since day one on the Game Pass, and I've sort of scrolled down, I saw the thumbnail, and haven't quite. I might have clicked on it for like a minute, but I haven't got any involvement with the game. But has it been a slow burner? A bit like the Taken film, where it came out and more people knew about it on DVD than they did on cinema? Or has it had a strong user base from day one, and it's just people have recommended it, completed the game, and it's just added and added and added? Or is it a grow in a genre?
No, I think the latter. I think initially it landed and it didn't. It didn't garner 10 out of 10s from memory. I think it was like late 7s, 8s. It was kind of hailed as like a nice entry, nearly, but not quite. But as people played it, I think the overwhelming feedback was that they were thoroughly enjoying it. You know, the diversification of what they had and another game within that genre to play. And I think that groundswell of support, as you so eloquently put it, has built. I think if it hadn't been for sort of, as you say, user feedback, the appeal of another game to kind of prove your gaming prowess on, I think it's done well. And I think that it will continue to do well. Whether that hails as a sequel, it's also interesting to see, obviously, a South Korean developer. There's a lot more of these Korean developers making their way over, or even just starting up and having a go and being a worldwide developer straight out the gates. It's impressive to see, and I think it does hail maybe the start of a switch of seeing some of these more Eastern developers put games out, where European developers have been struggling to kind of match maybe the frequency and the expectation of worldwide gamers. And we've seen Western developers struggle with frame rate, struggle with open world, this, that, and the other. We've not seen the Eastern developers struggle anywhere near as much. Now, their games are different in some ways, but equally so, they've hit the gun straight out the gates. Whereas I think the Western developers are still struggling a little bit with graphical fidelity, incorporating ray tracing. We kind of spoke about this a little bit last week with the baked-in lighting. We're at that crossover period, but yeah, very impressive.
I mean, they had obviously said it was shadow dropped to DLC in June, which is why I guess this article's come about, which was only a week or so ago. But they had the DLC, like you just said a moment ago, February 2025. So is that two different DLCs? Is that what they've been doing? They've just been sticking loads of more content. So I guess that just keeps getting people go, well, you know, it's like if you leave a game, you very rarely come back to it. So maybe they've been looking, and as the numbers drop down, playing it online, they've gone, oh, hold on a minute, let's drop something in. So people almost finish with the game and they go, oh, actually, I'll stay with it. Because once you put the controller down and you start a new game, it's quite hard to go back to, isn't it?
And I've experienced this with Outlaws recently. I'm playing through the Pirate DLC, and you've got to clear out a base, or preferably in the ideas of the original incarnation of Outlaws, you've probably got to sneak through it. I just don't have the skill set to really nail that on. I've enjoyed everything up till this point. Got to infiltrate the base, and it's a bit like, smash your hand against a brick wall. I don't know how many times I need to get caught before I need to give up. So I think making sure DLC comes out in a timely clip is good. You need to remember that not everyone bought the game on launch. So there's a window that you need to kind of give acceptance to. But I think your premium adopters, they're the ones who are most into the idea. Now, everyone has a roadmap for games. I don't think that this was an afterthought. I think this was thought some time ago. And it's just arrived in these moments. Could DLC arrive sooner for games? Just as a generic overview, I think it could. I almost sometimes think, why would it not hurt to launch this day and date?
I think so. To tell you one that really stung me and bothered me was the reason why I brought the Switch. Going back to the Switch 1, I didn't buy it straight away. I brought it. I brought the Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee one. So I don't know what model that was. Probably the second. And I brought it for Pokemon Let's Go. That's literally what got me back into the game, and it really sort of stemmed it on. But yeah, that game I had. And then after that was Pokemon Sword. And I remember buying Pokemon Sword, smashed it, completed it, the 35 hours, whatever it takes, in like a week. And then I completed it, hung on for it for a couple of weeks, and I sold it because obviously you completed the game. And then as soon as I sold it, a month later, they added the DLC. So obviously I'm like, I haven't got the game now. So I do feel like they should always do it sooner, because even if someone's halfway through a game, so the game's been out a week and it's a short game like that, you should just, even if say it's coming soon, so just to keep it going, or make people, some people might think, the game's not long enough, just to let them know there's some more meat on the bones. Because I literally bought the game, completed it, sold it, and then a month later they've announced it, and I'm like, oh man, I've got to buy the game again. I didn't do it.
You've put me in this interesting question place here. What was the trigger point between Scott that I'll get a game and I'll play it, I'll trade it, I'll buy another new game, I'll play it, I'll trade it? What was the trigger point that made you slam your brakes on, pull up hard on the handbrake, do a swift and severe 180, and then literally drop the hammer full on into Switch collecting mode. When did that happen, and what made that happen?
It's very true because there's some which I never acquired back. So I remember even selling Super Mario Odyssey. Basically, I think I would get the game. Like, there's a lot of first party launches. So what I do, I'd complete them. They're very expensive. They never drop prices. So say the game come out and I completed it after 2 weeks. Say it's a £45 game. I could sell it for 35, 40 quid. So in my head, I was like, I've only spent a tenner. It's like renting a game. So I would sell it and then get the next game. So once the big first party titles stopped coming, then I started playing the third party games and stuff like that. And then I guess that's how the collecting happened, because there was no point in selling those because I had already brought them pre-owned for 20 quid. If I traded them in, I'd get pence. So I think I was only selling games in the first year of having a Switch because they were so easy to sell. And I'd only lose a tenner. So I'd play the game for £10. So in my theory, I thought I was being very clever, which I still think sort of makes sense. But once the Switch library was full out, I realised there was no point selling the games, and I just stacked them all. And then I think sales and stuff started coming around Christmas, and then all of a sudden I was like, hold on a minute, I've got over 100 physical games, then 150, and I was like, oh, well, it looks like I'm collecting physical for the Switch. And that is kind of what happened, really. So I have been actually trying to actively buy back the games I got rid of. So I did buy Sword back. Yeah, that's literally what happened. But yeah, that does annoy me with the DLC. Just getting back to that point, they can definitely bring them sooner. Even if it's just announcing, by the way, we're going to keep interest. We're glad you like the game. We've got more to offer. Every quarter, we're going to bring out, something extra. To
be honest, developers, publishers, the conglomerate that brings the game to market, they get one bite at the cherry when the game's sold new. One. Okay, and you could argue that even then that's going to be a bit of a struggle. They need to then sell however many games to remunerate themselves. I think keeping people locked in your ecosystem, selling them DLC, skins and other things like that. I mean, the game's got to be good enough, don't get me wrong, and there's got to be the desire. Yeah. If the game was sub-average and it was like, hey, guess what? For £2.50, you can make your guy have green hair. It's like, well, the game's garbage. Why am I going to do it? But if you've got a game that's good enough and the ecosystem's sort of wide and large enough, it makes absolute business sense to make people keep playing your game. So whether that's the DLC of extra levels. Now, I don't really mind if a developer kind of locks off the DLC within the game and then you buy a pass to keep it in. I don't care if it's all on disc or whether it's added in after. People get a bit upset about that. Well, hang on a minute. It was always on disc from the start. Yeah, it was. To make it easier. Developers are trying to make a bit of money. Really. Such a dirty word in the modern world, isn't it? Thought of someone making some money, but without it, there'd be no Switch games next year. There'd be no video games ever. It's a dirty thought to think that you've got to pay for art, that someone needs to buy their woodbines and cherry pies so they can keep.
It is interesting, isn't it? It's like are sequels really dead? Whereas every game used to, if it was successful, have a sequel. Now we're looking at. I mean, it's an interesting subject for maybe a future show. Because now it's like, if a game's good, the tactical thing to do is to throw DLC at it, get some transactions going. Whereas used to, a game would be good, Croc on a PlayStation, right, we need to get Croc 2 out. We've hit Platinum on Croc 1. Yeah. We're going to drop Croc 2. But it kind of makes more sense in putting a DLC on Croc if you could back then, because how many people are going to buy Croc 2 even if they did love it? But how many people would buy a DLC if they was playing it and then they almost completed it? Probably a lot more. So I wonder if that is the sequel killer, the DLC. There's a lot less sequels than there used to be.
There's a lot less sequels of games than there used to be, but there are franchises that just keep on churning them out, a bit like the movie industry. And I think that there's this... We've talked about it on air before. Obviously, the boardrooms got into gaming and they've got the Excel spreadsheet out and they're like, okay, we've got to come up with this new idea. Yeah, but I want Ghost of Tsushima too. Ugh. Yeah, we were going to move away from that. No, I don't think you are. It makes a lot of money. It's got brand recognition. You're going to make that. Oh, damn it. So what they're locked into. Sony historically has been a bit generous, 3 games and rest, 3 games and rest. But I see Sony in the modern era not doing 3 games and rest. I see them now doubling down and pumping that donkey until it's literally dead.
Yeah, you get it like with Far Cry, don't you? Or was it Just Cause? Those sort of games. I think they had four, five, or
They're to
six.
me, yeah, and no disrespect to them, maybe not Far Cry, but Just Cause. I see that as like Death Wish 1 to
Mm.
7. You know, it's one
Or
of those.
Dead Rising. I mean, I don't even know what we're up to with there. There was about six or seven. Every single one was just a chainsaw through a zombie's head. They kept that train going, didn't they? Pump that full of gravy.
I think, what did we get? 4, maybe 3 in a reboot of Dead Rising? I can't quite remember now. Give me this next bit of news, Scotty. What you got?
Okay, I'll tell you what I've got. So this one is about Monster Hunter. So again, speaking of franchises,
Yeah.
so Monster Hunter Wilds receives more than 8,300 overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam in recent weeks. So
Wow.
on the 28th of February. So Monster Hunter Wilds launched with some of the best critical review scores in Monster Hunter franchise history, which is quite a big thing because there's a lot of people that do like that series.
Yeah.
So Monster Hunter Wilds earned a mighty rating on OpenCritic, thanks to its 89 average score and 95% recommendation rate from critics. Similarly, Monster Hunter Wilds received an 88 Metascore, which is fantastic, which is based on 107 critic reviews. The game's combat system and gameplay loop were among the features praised by fans shortly after launch, but it was clear that Monster Hunter Wilds still needs updates to bring out its full potential, especially on PC. Not only did the PC version experience various technical issues, but Monster Hunter Wilds faced scrutiny from its microtransactions, lackluster UI, and low monster count compared to past Monster Hunter entries. These were just some of the issues that Monster Hunter Wilds players continue to criticise Capcom for. And before Title Update 2 launches at the end of June, the community rallied together. I really like this, to be fair. Rallied
Yeah.
together to share their grievances on the game's official Steam page. So Monster Hunter Wilds has a mix now overall rating on Steam because they had 8,300 overwhelming negative recent reviews out of nowhere, and the community has shared its thoughts and current state of the game and the game's review section. Many of the most helpful reviews for the Steam version show a lack of optimism for Monster Hunter Wilds, with many players saying things such as running the game and even claiming that performance has worsened over time. Other players aren't infused about the lack of new monsters, and some reference for Monster Hunter Wilds near the time of launch. So basically, everyone's sort of rallied together, and they've sort of complained it's not been as much updates as the previous franchises. This article, George, really reminds me of, do you remember the Sonic trailer? And they showed Sonic, and everyone was
Yes.
like, no, I'm not having that. Let's all get together and say, no one's going to watch this film. It's trash. Change something. So, to be fair, all of the hardcore fans from Monster Hunter have loved the game. It's come out. They're like, oh, this is amazing, this new edition. And they've all played it. And they're like, well, why haven't they done this? Why have they done that? The last one had that. And they're like, they better not be leaking money from us. We've been really loyal customers. And they've all just gone together and they've just hammered the developer or publisher. And to be fair, it'd be interesting to see its response, whether they will have, because I mean, that will send ricochets through, because anyone new to the franchise who picks up that as their first Monster Hunter game will now go, oh, I'm not gonna take a little dip my toe into that. What's the point? So that could affect new players coming over to the game. It's a really, really interesting thing. Just real power to the people, to be honest.
Well, one thing, I'm not a massive fan of social media. I think it's just for nosy parkers to find out what that person from school was doing all those years ago. You know, I bet I'm doing better than them. Damn it, they own their own business and drive
Yeah.
around in a Maybach. Oh, God, I'm awful. I'm going to slate them. I'm going to give their business a negative review. You know, it's just full of, like, I don't know, poisonous, bitter people. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see that
It being used for good.
it being used for good. Now, I also want to kind of spin round on another sort of angle of the video games industry, if I may, Sir Scott. Obviously, historically, the thing everybody pushed for, we're going back to the early thousands, and gaming really historically, was that kind of garnered 90 plus score or 80 plus
Yes.
score in a video game magazine stroke publication. You would give your right arm for that. And in fact,
Yes.
I do believe many reviews have been bought over the time, either by,
Oh, definitely.
oh, we're going to send you the game, but also here's a check for a few 100,000 for the ads we want to run this week. Hold on a minute. This game just got a big 2-star boost. Boom, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Great game. Recommend it to everybody. Now, that was a world where you had to trust a bought video game journalism industry. Now, not everyone's a
Yeah.
bad egg. There's some real good standout, genuine journalists or genuine reviewers that will give you a heartfelt opinion on the game. Now, don't forget that's always their opinion. They've got games and gameplay styles they like, and they've got gameplay styles that they also can't tolerate. So it must be hard as a reviewer to sit down to review Mickey Mouse's colouring extravaganza on the Game Boy, while the mate next door to you is finishing up his review for Halo 2. You're like, oh, this sucks. Now, that doesn't make Mickey's colouring a bad game, maybe for the age genre that it's aimed at, 5-year-olds or whatever, but a grown man reviewing that bitter because his mate's playing the latest bro shooter, he's never going to work out too well for that game. So it's interesting now that we live in this world where these reviews happen. The mags are dead, I'm afraid. I've warned their existence. I love a mag. As you know, Fiesta, Razzle, Escort, you name it. I've even bought a couple of video game magazines in my past as well. I'm a big fan of the written genre. But they're dead. I think Edge is about the only survivor now, and that's for highbrow guys who know what C++ is. I haven't, so that magazine's a bit dead to me. But if I went,
can I just give a quick shout out, George, because there is still one going that's very, very good. There is Switch Player. So I know they had some issues and they disappeared, but I believe they came back.
Where do I get Switch Player from?
So if you go on Google, anyone that's listening, so Switch Player from, I think it's called Ninty Media as a company. They've done some retro nostalgic sort of annuals like every year. But since the Switch's launch, they had, I don't know, they would come out monthly and there were so many of them and they would print a lot and they've sold less and less. So after, 100 issues or so, about 5 years into the Switch's cycle, they just said, look, we can't do it anymore. Thanks everyone for supporting us. And they ceased to exist. However, I started getting emails from them again, and I thought they were just selling previous copies. And then they said, we're going to be making them to order. So let me know if you're interested, and we'll put an issue out. And it's got quite a bit of a good following. So I've ordered a few from them. So yeah, if anyone types in Switch Player, so it comes as a mag, and it's a beautiful mag. It reminds me of American mags. You know the slossy ones, probably A5 in size. If anyone works at a post office. Probably about an A5. Beautiful colour. And me and my friend Gills, big shout out to the Castle Kong Don. I will explain that name later on in the show. Me and him used to trade those magazines to each other. And all of the games we used to get before we discovered, some of these big Switch Up and some of the big YouTube channels that show the reviews every week.
Gaming is a big YouTube channel.
That was literally where we'd get our recommendations from, was from that magazine. And what was brilliant about it, they were all, like you say about you have to trust people, they were independent journalists. They weren't just people who worked for them. So there would be like 20 different reviewers. It weren't by the same person. So they were handpicked from who liked that genre. So it was really, really good, So yeah, Switch Player. Sorry to go on a bit of a there, but
do me a solid. WhatsApp me the link, and I might even subscribe.
Yeah, I'll tell you what shocked me, and obviously I know this is a worldwide show, but if anyone who is in the southeast of England, I know George, you work near me sometimes, and you'll be familiar with this place. So I ordered it, a magazine, and I'm sure I looked at where it come from, and it said Canvey Island, which is like 10 minutes down the road from where I am. So yeah, it really blew my mind. So. Yeah, so, I mean, that might just be a distribution point. I'm not sure because it's off the Thames. But yeah, go check out Switch Up, guys. Check them out. Okay. I'm sorry, George, you were saying about...
Mate, yeah. So, I've been corrected. There is one. I know that there are other pop-up mags, subscriber-only mags out there, but I was generally talking, although I will subscribe. If you're listening...
Shall I go grab one to show you? For the video watchers.
And I'll keep your headphones on.
You keep going. Okay.
So what has made it feel good to me for the modern era is that we can now look to other players' reviews of the game, Metacritic, Steam scores, even PlayStation have initiated a stars rating for the games. It's good to see that we can now value other people's opinions. Because I've seen some games that have reviewed highly and then I've gone and checked their source Steam page and been less than overwhelming. So it's nice to know that we have the open gamut to have these conversations these days and have more worldly information to be presented to us so we can also make an opinion based on something that fellow gamers would say. Before we dive into a hearty review of Switch Player magazine, Scotty, what do you think about the ability, as I was waxing lyrical and filling time like a Z-list
It was-
celebrity only can.
That was brilliant.
There was lots of ums and ahs there. I tell you what, the audio listener probably got away with it scot-free until I just confessed my sins. But the YouTube viewer was like, George, you're desperate, mate. I can see it in your eyes.
It reminded me of, you do an essay, it's got to be like 500 words. No, it's got to be a page, and you go straight away to word art, font 24 or 36. And you just try and get the header as big as possible just to save. And you're like, there we go, miss. I'm already halfway down the page now.
Well, my sort of desperate attempts to play for time. What do you think now about the ability to, or our ability to have, obviously we've got the websites out there that still push out the review scores, but more often than not, we can go check what a like-minded gamer like you or I thought about it, either on Steam or somewhere like that.
That's why it's so much easier now. So, it's trusted so much. I mean, if you compare it to the film industry, the reason why people love Rotten Tomatoes so much was because it went away from being one person, and it would be a very harsh but a collective group of people. So you knew if it got a very good score, you knew, hold on a minute, there's some legs in this. Whereas you could read a book that's a bestseller or a film that's, best sold in that particular month, but it might not have had any competitors. It might not be good. It might have just been average in a different period of time. So the fact that we've got so many just average Joes like me and you just going, this is what I think of the game, and they've got no allegiances with this game, with this developer. They can be as black and white or as hardcore as they want and say absolutely anything off the rails, which is what me and you love especially. Yes. So it's so much easier now. It really is. And I do really appreciate that you can just find the truth a lot easier. That is another good thing about the internet, but obviously you've got to be a bit savvy because there are still a lot of nonsense out there. I wonder if there'll be a wiki games at some point where you can upload your review so people can see and it will collaborate all the reviews. That'd be a good idea for an idea, wouldn't it? An idea for an idea. Could tell the Rockstar Energy drinks kicked in.
Mate, I'm surfing the Rockstar Energy wave. I'm flagging on a cup of tea. To be honest, it's nothing. It's like a candle in the darkness compared to the sun itself. Rockstar Energy is an all-encompassing experience. That, like, I'm being lifted by it. Sponsorship plug here. And it doesn't cause any ill effects and can be drank by anybody from a newborn child to an 80-year-old man.
Just to clarify, it depends on how old the child is. Probably from age of 15 onwards. It's probably
newborn.
Yeah, newborn. Get it down them. Down them.
Rockstar Energy, they are doing the decent thing by holding back with the publishing. But I saw a woman feeding a bottle of Monster. They put a teat on the top of the can and literally just had it in newborn's mouth. Kid was fine.
Yeah, I mean, when you was younger and used to be ill, your grandma would dip your pacifier in the old whiskey and stick that in there and you go sleep. That's like the old school cowpole, wasn't it? So maybe we're in the
Maybe that's why there's all those bloody ex-dummies wrapped up round your floor scraper, mate.
Maybe that's why I look like this in the morning, because I've been
dreams can come true.
I've been raised on whiskey my whole life.
It's not an issue.
I'll tell you what, even as a baby, I'd drink you under a table. I'll tell you that now.
I'll tell you one thing about you is you are able to absorb Scottish water, aka whiskey, like a piece of blotting paper, mate. After we went to obviously format again this year, very exciting. We went last year, didn't we? You and I, and we took along the infamous Rachel now, and it was fun. And we got back to the hotel, and you said, "Let's finish the night with a short."
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether you slipped a bluey in there or what, mate. But I don't remember anything. I remember nothing.
Listen, I Bill Cosby'd you that night for sure.
Fine, you guest starred me in your own show and gave me a big launch promo of my own career. That's all Bill Cosby's known for. Well, let's dive into those supple pressed pages of dead trees.
Yes,
as we witness the power that is Switch Player. You're absolutely right.
So
I love the form
beautiful
factor, by the way. It's the size of a grown man's hand.
Can I tell you something that's really beautiful about this magazine, right? This cover art is absolutely delicious. Now, what they do in the magazine, they will say what the cover art's going to be for the next magazine, and they say, send in your art. So every time, this could be you on the cover. So if you draw a nice cover, they will put it on there. So this is a reader who's done this. That's amazing, isn't it?
That is phenomenal.
So that must have been one of the Paper Mario games. And so it's full colour, full gloss. very professionally done, and there'll be
Easy
articles in there. Yeah, easy wipe. If you're listening, RGT, easy wipe. And yeah, everything's in there. So here you get like the articles, and then you get what they call a little 5-star. It's done in Mario stars. So they give you your reviews. That game there's got 3 out of 5, and it's got a summary. If you've got a low attention span or ADHD like me, you can just skip and go straight to the end. So it's fantastic. And this is where I used to get all my gaming news. This was like the birth of marathon gaming, because I was like, I'm going to get into gaming journalism.
Stop. Go back 3 pages. What's that Endless Ocean review? Was that
I've got Animal, well, I've got Pine Hearts. You let me know when there's a game. Little Kitty, Big City, Endless Ocean, Luminous. Would you like me to read you the summary? It got 4 out of 5 Mario stars.
Yes, please.
Okay, summary. While it that's a huge word for someone that's had a whole can of energy drink. Lackadaisical. While it's lackadaisical.
Show me this review. Hold it up.
That is a big word on the top right there.
While its lackadaisical approach to gaming will confide and frustrate some, I need to move my windows, it's a charming and engrossing undersea adventure that's best if you allow yourself to get washed away in its sweeping cover of discovery, mystery, and the occasional spectacle. Is it a diving game where you can stroke dolphins? It is, isn't it?
It is a diving game, and yeah, there's a picture of lots of people in different diving gear. There's lots of sharks as well. Developer Nintendo, published by Nintendo, 2nd of May 2024. This was $39.99 at launch with a size of 5.1 GB. Reviewed by Stuart Gipp. Billy Ocean,
Wasn't he in
Frank
the
Ocean.
BGs?
Hey, listen to this. He's hit it with a big article here. He put Billy Ocean, Frank Ocean, and now there's Endless Ocean. If you don't want to read on from there, I mean, come on.
He's my kind of cat.
This is a fantastic magazine. So yeah, check those guys out. I mean, we've plugged them enough. Switch Player.
They've plugged us more than they will. We've plugged them more than they will ever plug us. Even in a seedy hotel room, we're never going to get a plug off Switch Player.
I know. And listen, I plugged you that night after. Oh, sorry. Let's move on.
I'm getting married soon. You know.
Oh yes.
It's a big moment for the show.
Yeah, it is a big moment.
You're going to have to survive without me for a couple of weeks. Watch your show frequency drop to like 1 a month or something. Everyone's splayed out, wasted, drinking alcohol, playing Switch. I imagine that UCP towers are going to be in chaos.
Oh, there'll be nothing left when you return.
Fine. What a great.
I'll probably be carrying around RGT on a throne. You know about that time last series where he's been fed grapes and pampered down with some big vine leaves.
Don't make out like it ever stopped.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's going to carry on, really. That crown I had on the last episode was just RGT's crown that I borrowed. So I'll be carrying him around. He will be my king until you return, my fair lord.
Well, that would be one hell of an update. And I tell you what else got an update. Switch 2, baby. Latest Switch 2 update fixes backwards compatibility issues for some games. RGT's sat listening. Hopefully he's got his crown on. I don't know how I do it to myself. He's not got his crown on, Scott. RGT sat there crowning. June the 19th, Limited Run Games confirmed the latest Nintendo Switch 2 firmware update resolves some backward compatibility issues with games that utilise the Carbon engine. Limited Run Games stated that games like Tomba, Special Edition Shantae, and River City Girls Zero, Shantae, look at me, all Francais, should run properly on Switch 2 consoles with firmware version 20.1.5 or later. Like its predecessor, the Switch 2 operating system receives periodic firmware updates to improve performance, fix outstanding bugs, and occasionally bring new user features. However, the most firmware updates tend to address a non-specific list of bugs, stability issues. I didn't quite know what you were going to sit down wearing then.
Oh no, I was trying to appeal to our Scottish listeners, so I thought I'd pour myself an iron brew, try and pick up some of the ratings in Scotland.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
thought it might help.
We might get lucky. Game Boy Matty's just about old enough to be able to have a phone and download the podcast now, so we can catch up on the lore of his life that he missed out on. Turn the radio up, Roast Space Monk, so we can hear this. Yes, Game Boy Matty, you've come of age. It's time, friend. Go back and re-listen to the episodes. There's some jokes in there that we left for you for your 18th birthday. Anyway, the Switch got an update. The Switch 2's version 20.1.5 update was a case of the latter, which was bugs and stability issues. The patch notes only state the general system stability improvements were made. Users must connect the Switch 2 console to the internet to receive the latest update. Following a brief download, the console will automatically restart. Although Nintendo was not specific about the changes the new Switch 2 firmware update made, a game publisher came forward with some good news. Good old Limited Run Games posted on social media that some Switch titles that utilise the Carbon engine should now work properly on the Switch 2 after users update their console to 20.1.5. The Carbon engine allows retro games to be ported to modern platforms, and developers can use it to some enhancements or features that were not originally in the game's release. Limited Run Games confirmed that 12 Carbon engine titles were affected by a backward compatibility issue on the Switch 2, including Tomba Special Edition, Felix the Cat, River City Girls Zero, and Shantae. I felt French saying that, but I know it's not. Before the firmware update, some of these games could not load correctly at startup or would have buggy textures and performance issues. So I know you're there, you're slathering, you're driving down the road, you're like, "But George, stop teasing me. Dial 0 on what games are repaired." Well, I'll tell you what games are going to work better now the Carbon engine's been fixed. Clock Tower Rewind, Jurassic Park, Classic Games Collection, Tomba
I've got
Special
that.
Edition. Oh,
Haven't
Tomba
got that.
Special Edition, River City Girl Zero,
Got that one.
A Boy and His Blob Collection. You don't have that?
I don't have the rest, to be fair. Just the top few.
I'll be honest with you. What boy wants to spend time with the Blob? Rocket Knight Adventures, Shantae, Bill and Ted's Excellent Retro Collection, Extreme Sports, Trip World DX, whatever that is, Felix the Cat, Rendering Ranger 2 Rewind, Tony Hawk's Pro Scope. Whoa. Slow down. You have brought
No. Sorry, slow down there. Just Rendering Ranger R2 Rewind. We should probably say, in case anyone's worried that, do I need a patch as there's some games not working, do not panic. All of these games are just limited run games. So it's one particular developer who, a bit like Super Rare Games or Strictly Run Limited Games, all of their games, for some reason, didn't quite work on the Switch. They fixed it very quickly and swiftly, so do not panic. All you got to do is restart it, start it up, check you've got the correct latest software update. If not, update it. And within 60 seconds, guys, all those games will work. So it's not all games, it's just from that particular publisher.
Scott, may I say something? Earlier in the episode, you talked about changing fonts on your teacher. You said that, fill a page of A4 and do this, that, and the other. What can I say is you've kept the font small and you've filled 4 pages of A4 with news. We've got a news fest for you gamers. We haven't had a news fest for a while. Sit there in the sun in your vest a while. This is brilliant. And there's a lot of, may I say, there's a lot of Switch news in here. Are we becoming a Switch-centric show?
No, there's a nice mixture. I try to keep it equal. But if there's no news for a particular console, it's because, you know what they say, no smoke, no fire. It's because they're not heating anything up, baby. So if you don't hear PlayStation one week or Xbox one week, if you're listening PlayStation, Xbox, sort it out. We said about this on the last show. RGT and Jules broke it down. They said, what are you guys working on? What's going on with this new handheld for the Xbox? What's going on with the PS6? What's going on with GTA being put back a year? If you don't bring out games, what can we talk about?
Maybe they've realised that this whole secondary industry of grown men talking about kids' toys only has fuel if they make fuel. And they're now deciding, well, tell us what it feels like when we cut your throats, boys. We have to talk about GTA 4. We're a bit desperate. What's this? What's this next bit of news about a game from 20 years ago?
Okay, so this next bit of news is written in Mandarin, but luckily I have travelled the world of Emma Sharp, so I am versed in Duolingo.
What's Emma Sharp's favourite foreign food?
I think she likes margarine, but it's labelled differently. You know, like when you get Walker's crisps in another country, it's called Lay's. Um, so yeah, margarine. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is. I'm really excited for this because 1 and 2. I still haven't fired up on the Switch. I'm excited because I didn't even fire up 1 and 2 the reboot. So I need to fire that up and get hold of 3 and 4 because I haven't.
1 and 2 don't work, do they not? 1 and 2 don't work.
What do you mean they don't work?
I think they're there are still a couple of games that have been left behind by the Switch 2. They don't work on
Hold on. I've got Tony, get in here. Tony, George is saying your games don't work. 1 and 2. He's just nodding. He just says, yeah, they don't work. He doesn't care. He's got loads of money. He's got a half pipe in my kitchen, and I can't get rid of the guy.
Is this Tony Hawk or Tony Bork, the Essex version of Tony Hawk?
This is Tony Schork. He's got a Turkish cousin that works in a kebab shop round the corner. Right, let me continue.
Is he R2D2 or is he not?
No, he's actually C3PO kebab. So it's a gyros, actually. Right, so they're adding a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle to the roster. So the gameplay trailer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 revealed several old and new characters who will make an appearance in a remake bundle, including the orange-clad Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo. Everybody stand up! Everybody sit down! Developer Iron Galaxy is working hard on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Oh, hold on, sorry, let me switch back to the camera. Oh, yes, sorry. We must salute.
Everybody carry on.
Let me carry on like this. So developer Iron Galaxy is working hard on double salute, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, following up on positively received first duo of remakes for Pro Skater 1 and 2. The previous entry continued the original series tradition of including secret and bonus skaters, and there's some cool ones, ready? With Jack Black and a classic Roswell alien joining the cast of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. A number of guest skaters have already been confirmed for the duo of remakes, a series regular of the original games. So here we go, this is cool crossover. We've got Bam Margera.
Yes.
From Jackass will be playing in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on 4, and that will be on day one, despite rumours claiming it's a mission. Infamous for his wild antics and controversial behaviour, everyone knows who he is. And so we've got Bam Margera come into the game. So Margera himself previously indicated that he might not make an appearance on the upcoming remakes. Now that it's been confirmed, the skateboarding legend will feature alongside the one member of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Does that mean there's another film coming? Who can match his energy? The wisecracking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Michelangelo. Is it Hero Turtle or Ninja Turtle? We've got like an English and American, haven't we? But that'll be playable on July 11th on its release date. But I think there'll be more characters.
Thought that the word ninja would incite violence and danger, especially amongst children. So they were forced to re-homogenise the name in the UK as Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yes.
Did it make a damn bit of difference? Those heroes still wielded Japanese weapons as if they were nothing. You change the name, a stab's still a stab. Although, if you know it's the Turtles, they had those dangerous sharp weapons. Never hurt anyone.
I'll tell you who's a weapon. Your stepson. He's huge. That is a weapon, isn't it? Do you have to have a licence to carry him around at your side?
He's a lethal weapon. You have to have a licence. When I'm not using him, I have to lock him up in a steel cupboard that gets inspected by the police every other month.
Who's your favourite turtle?
Donatello, without question.
Yeah. I used to fancy April, I think. Something about the yellow jumpsuit.
April is incredibly hot, but her little friend Irma, she's where it's at, right?
I quite like her little friend Splinter, the old guy.
He has got probably one of the most deadly weapons known to female kind. He's got what's known as a chin beard. You can only imagine the tickle stick that Splinter evokes in April's bedroom.
Was you a big fan of Tony Hawk's originally? Was you into skateboarding when you was a younger George?
Well, here's a story for you.
You dabble?
This is art imitating art imitating art. I think maybe Tony Hawk's 1 or 2 on Dreamcast. And as we know, when I was a young man, I was in the Navy and I'd go away a lot. And I ended up with a PS1 with a screen. And on that, I got sent, I can't remember now, a copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 that I played the absolute wheels off. Well, of course, when there's no other influence in your life, apart from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, when you get alongside in Rio de Janeiro, what's the first thing that you're going to do? Now, all the other lads are pulling on their pulling clothes, they're going uptown, they're going to find themselves a hot Brazilian girl. I was married at the time, so I decided what I would do is go to a Brazilian mall and buy myself a skateboard. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a Brazilian mall, but you can walk in there and you can buy a gun. You can walk in there and you can buy a pet dog, or you can buy a skateboard. I bought a skateboard and decided
it was 3 for 1. So you're rolling down the street, you got a dog in one hand.
Don't forget, mate.
A Glock 45 in the other.
I also picked up myself some Quicksilver cargo trousers.
Yes, you got to have them. Baggy trousers, baby. Can you remember the brand of skateboard you had? Because I was big into skateboarding. I know it all.
My son's got it now. It was quite a good one because it was one where you had them build it while you were there. You picked the wheels,
remember the deck, the picture underneath?
Oh, I can't remember. I will do my best to see if it's still around, and if I can find it, I will get pictures or even present it to you.
Do you know what I used to do when I got a new skateboard? I used to grind the picture, rub it on a curb, up and down, so then when the big kids see me, they think I could grind, but I couldn't.
I also did. As one could argue, a grown man, I also wore down the centre of my board.
Yes. And then someone would go, do a kickflip. And I'd go, sorry, I can't. My mum's calling me. Bye. Because I couldn't do that either. I could ollie up a curb, was as good as it got.
Now, I don't know what it is about South American and American curbs. They make them out of like really smooth concrete.
Oh, they're so high.
They're like glass. And I went up and down the beach on this little pathway, up and down. The only thing I could do was switch sides. There were people saying, do a trick. Brazilian kids were like, oh, wow, do a trick. White guy here, look at him, brought a skateboard. He must be a famous skateboarder. And then I would just
Gringo on the seafront. So you was windsurfing on pavement by the sounds of it. That was all you was doing. You was tacking and driving into the wind.
That's basically what I was doing. I was happy. In my mind, I was just cruising up and down, surfing, like pavement surfing, basically. I was having a good time. Now, when I got home, probably, I had my little sort of...
You looked good back then, so why not?
I didn't. I look worse than I do now. I had what can only be described as the paunch from hell. I probably looked like I was permanently 4 months pregnant. It was not a good look. But I brought this skateboard home, sort of fired up from the enthusiasm I'd found for this sport through the medium of this game. And I remember I thought I'll nip to the shops on it. So I threw it down on the floor outside my house. And you know what UK paths are like? They just zap all momentum from any skateboard ever. And I got about 50 yards from the front door and was like, picked it up, threw it in the back garden and walked, because you can't use it as a mode of transport in the UK. It's just not going to happen. It's like driving off-road compared to how they have their paths there.
I don't know, because I did work experience in Croydon, which is, I believe, South London. And I did a work experience there when I was in year 10 at school. And I was passed around departments for a construction company, working in offices. And there was a cool guy there, and he was very cool. He had long hair. He was cool. He was living his youth. And he skateboarded to work. I saw a skateboard. I was like, what's this for? Well, when we're doing tricks. And he was like, oh, that's how I get to and from work. And I was like, where do you live? And he was like, oh, east. He just rides his skateboard to work. It is a mode of transportation.
I just never could. Foreign, 2 kicks and you're gliding for days. UK, you basically put 1 foot on it and do like an assisted walk for 10 miles.
Yeah, it's not a lot of flat. Here's something to think about. There's a possibility that someone's listening to this podcast right now on Spotify or Apple or whatever they get their podcast from. We're on all platforms, baby. We've covered
They're listening
all
on
the land.
TuneIn, I reckon.
Yeah, they are listening on, Beaver Plus or whatever the latest thing is. They're listening while skateboarding. There's a good chance. If you are skateboarding, please kick the towel down, catch the top, and shout out, I'm listening to the Unofficial Controller podcast, baby. Whoop, whoop.
On a skateboard.
Just let people know. Yeah, if you're on a skateboard. Don't do that if you're not on a skateboard, and don't do it in a dangerous place.
Now, for this next bit of news, if we now may part my embarrassment ritual, now everybody knows that I was a pregnant man in the early 2000s. This next bit of news. Now, I need you to go get your undisputed WBC World Heavyweight title belt on your shoulder.
Yeah, got it ready. I knew this was going to happen. I've also got about 3 copies of the game for some reason.
That's totally fine by me. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah. Can everyone see that?
Put your shades on and do this like a press conference. There he is.
Oh, is it? There we go. Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to channel my inner Barry McGuigan here. Are you ready?
Yes.
He's a boxer that's got worldwide recognition for a worldwide show. Undisputed's next update will add a highly requested feature. Undisputed developer Steel City Interactive has revealed details of the game's next major update, which will arrive in either late June or early July, alongside a plethora of new bug fixes and improvements. The highly anticipated Undisputed update will be adding an online multi-queue feature, allowing players to get into the ring faster by selecting fighters across multiple weight divisions. Currently, players can only queue for one weight division at a time, which can often lead to long wait times between fights. The last Undisputed update came back in early May, making some important gameplay improvements, such as rework to the game's evasive movement system, stamina changes, and more. While fans were ecstatic to see Steel City release 4 patches in 5 weeks, the studio once again disappointed players when it announced the next update would not be released until late June or early July. As there are still plenty of improvements and features being requested by players, the downtime between updates is less than ideal. Thankfully, with the deadline now approaching, Steel City is gradually beginning to pull back the curtain on the next Undisputed update. After teasing the next Undisputed update on a DLC earlier this month, Steel City has now revealed further details on what fans can expect in terms of features and improvements. In a new post on Reddit, my favourite site, if you want to follow the show's Reddit, go find it. Join me on there. That's where the cool kids hang out. It's not about the Discord, but about the Reddit. It's all about memes, GIFs, all that. Apparently, that's what the cool kids are doing. Steel City's community manager confirmed that the online multi-queue will finally be added to the game in the next update. This will give players the ability to select multiple weight divisions at the same time when queuing for the online match, which should also improve the length of downtime. Fans can also expect improved lighting on PC, Series X and S, tweaks to AI, and more. The current list of changes and improvements can be found on their website. Now, you're a fan of Undisputed.
Yes.
You came onto the show. You championed it. I got a very lucky opportunity to play it in a very early release state at a show.
Yes, you
a couple
did.
Of years back. I was impressed with the graphical fidelity of it. I was also impressed with the fight night round, whatever it is, style of maneuver and the way they'd move the controls to the analog sticks. It gives you more, what I'll call, control and initiative and inventiveness over the maneuvers that you're pulling off, either your dodges, your weaves, or your punches and your jabs. It makes you feel more connected to the game. Very, very well implemented, and a game that we have actually needed. But a game that didn't need me to champion it, because we had our own, very own version of Barry McGuigan sat here. He's got his shades on. He's donned his WBC title. He's here now to defend Undisputed's sovereignty and its virginity. Scott, hopefully the camera cut to you in that moment, because you were licking like a gecko. And there's something not only arousing but disturbing about it. What do you make of all these updates? Is it going to cause you to dust off everybody's second favourite boxing game, or not?
Well, I'll tell you what, people might be thinking, that's not a big update. Why has it made the news? The reason why it's made the news, because I think it is, even though it's a minor update, it's so necessary for the game. Because if you have got the game Undisputed, once you've become Undisputed in several weight divisions, you do it in heavyweight, middleweight, feather or lightweight, it can get a bit tedious. So what happens is you go online. Now, people have said online it's not the greatest experience. Now, I agree. However, I got a good 30 hours or so out of the career mode, so I was happy. But what is really good to see is they have made some adjustments. So they've changed some of the training and how you do stamina. So they have tweaked it and I have listened. But this is a huge thing, because at the end of the day, once you're done with career mode, all you've got left is online. So it's got some flaws. So they're like, right, how can we improve this? So they're losing a bit of retention because people can't get into the game lobbies and they're going in and out. And you shouldn't have that in a modern game. You really shouldn't. That happens on games on a 360 when you play them 10 years later because no one's on the servers. But it shouldn't be happening on a game that came out last year. So what they've done is they've allowed you to, like you just said, to select different weight divisions. And if it can't find you with your first choice, it will put you your second or your third choice. So it's make it a lot more smoother, a lot more quicker. And what that does is it gives the game a lot more legs because the game's been out for a year now. No one's going to be playing the career mode, but people will be playing online. And if they don't make it playable, then it would die. So they've tried to help it out. They've made this feature. So there might be a few people that might want to put it back in its disc tray and give it another go. So I thought I'd put that in the news. But also there is strong rumours that they are working. The fact that they've been carrying on with the game, they haven't like made it and gone, right, we're a one-trick pony. There's your game. We knew you'd be hungry for it because you've not had a boxing game since Fight Night Champion. But apparently they've been working on already, is what I've heard. I can't reveal my source. But they've been working on the second one, I believe, Undisputed 2 or whatever it's going to be called. So I think that's why they're keen to keep... they don't want to just bin off its fan base because they want to keep them happy. So there's got to be a reason for that because I don't think it's continuing to sell. So I think they're trying to keep their fans happy and tweaking it and listening to them because there might be another one coming. So it's kind of like a news update / rumour for you there. And we love a rumour.
We don't do leaks and we don't do rumours here on the UCP.
No, true facts.
What?
What we do predictions. We give you spoilers.
We do, and that's what we do. I say we don't do that. We've been doing it since day one.
Yeah, we have. To be fair, I was squitzy like that under the table. I don't know if you could see.
Me too. I've
been lying for the past hour.
Your schlong stirrup to cross my best thing.
I haven't even played any video games. I haven't got any computer games. I'm just using an AI generator in front of me, and it's telling me what to say. Hello, my name is Scott. Hope everyone is enjoying the show.
I'll be honest with you. If that's where AI's got to, I quit because your content's fabulous. Iron Brew or Aperol? I don't know which you're supping on right now. Could be both.
It's Iron Brew. I'm really excited. Excited really makes me feel old because I was going to finish a sentence with, I'm excited to see the colour of my urine after this. But if that's what I've got to look forward to on a summer's day, then what have I really got going on in my life?
Let's face it, classic Englishman. If your urine doesn't look like that after a hot day, you're not trying hard enough, are you? You're not trying hard enough. Question. Did your Iron Brew pour from the glass bottle that we get here down south of the Scottish border, or is it from a plastic container?
I went for a can, or what they call a tinny, because I wanted to stick to my true Glaswegian roots. And we love a tinny.
Kiss. Right. Well, every now and then when I feel a little bit highbrow, I go get myself a glass bottle of Iron Brew. And it makes no difference at all, but it feels very high class drinking out of there.
I heard if you get a glass bottle of Iron Brew and a glass bottle of apple ties and you rub them together, it makes one of those little alien babies. Is that true?
I would say that's
Come in an egg.
100% true. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you do is you then insert it into a fold of skin on your body and it grows into a full-size alien.
Oh. I don't really know what to do with that knowledge. I'll just try it out, I suppose.
Get rubbing, start inserting in folds. That's all I'll say.
What fold would you put it in? Which part of the crevice of your anatomy?
I think where my rather paunchy-looking stomach rests against my upper leg, I think is where I would... Because I would have to sit down for the whole of the alien pregnancy.
Yeah. I was thinking behind the knee, because that's quite moist.
I would have to sort of fold my leg up and then tie it in the folded position to make sure the alien fetus didn't fall out.
You look quite flexible. I reckon I could fold you like a pretzel.
Mate, you could fold me like a secondary school love letter if you wanted to. I'm up for anything.
I tell you who hasn't folded to the console war. Xbox. You said I've got no Xbox news.
Well,
I've got some.
It's you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Give it to me, baby.
So, Xbox Game Pass.
Imagine you're a bottle of Iron Brew.
Yes.
Imagine I'm a bottle of Apple Tizer.
Okay. So you want me to serenade you? Can you hum some sort of romantic music while I just do this article, please? Xbox Game Pass adds highly anticipated day one game. Slow caps highly anticipated sports game. This is backfired massively. I'm going to have to be like a teacher in my exam hall. I demand silence, please, children. This anticipated sports game rematch has been added to the Xbox Game Pass library as a day one title. The next title being added to Game Pass is Rematch, which launched on June 19th. So if you're listening to the show, the game's already out. So being touted as a cross between real life soccer and Rocket League, I'm really excited for this because me and RGT really enjoyed Unsociable Soccer. I like Rocket League, so this is a nice arcade game, and I've seen a few screenshots. So Rematch offers a third-person experience for online competitive play. Now, I have seen an article about some of the bits being a bit broken, but I think they've patched that now. So the developer has emphasised that there are no player stats to keep track of, and winning a match relies solely on skill, reaction speed, and coordination. So this is a great online game. They've had this is also they made Sifu. Do you know, I ordered a copy of that off eBay. It never arrived. That is the martial arts game, isn't it? Where your character sort of ages.
What platform did you order it for?
I ordered it for a Switch off eBay. And then by the time I tested it, he just nothing happened. Got mugged off, basically.
Oh.
But this game.
eBay purchase.
Yeah. Another bit of feedback there. I have to get onto them like they did on Monster Hunter. So this game looks really, really good. So I'm quite excited about this. I actually put it on my own Discord the other day. I just said, has anyone played this game? So I haven't popped onto Game Pass for a while. Obviously, Switch 2's been out. But I do really, really want to try this out. So, I mean, this might feature later on in the show when you say what you hope to be playing. This might be one of the games. Because I knew nothing about this, George, until I saw this article. And I was like, oh, I think I might like that. I know you're not a fan of the soccer genre. You're more of the baseball games. And I'll spoiler alert, there might be some baseball news later on in the show.
I saw that, and I have information, so that's great news.
But yeah, this game looks. I mean, for me and RGT, I think this is right up our street. I mean, I'll let you guys know in the next show what it's like. I am going to check it out. It looks very interesting to me, but I'm sure. For yourself, you're probably happy to let that ball slide past, I'm assuming.
No, mate. If Slow Cap have done their take on soccer and it's a cross between real life soccer and Rocket League, I've to be honest, this has passed me by, so I'll do some research post show. But I'll be interested to see how that works out. Obviously, I don't imagine there's any cars involved, but I do believe that there'll be some crazy kicks and all sorts of stuff like that kind of brings that Rocket League vibe. So I'm
excited.
Yeah, I won't say I'm excited. I'm anticipating.
Oh, eagerly awaiting.
Eagerly awaiting some information from you.
Semi-eagerly.
Semi into the idea of this. So as soon as I get a review from a person I trust, a consolidated team member of the UCP whose opinion I value highly, I will then decide whether I'm going to dip my stubby in or not.
Isn't it strange that people say eagerly awaiting, but then the eagle never arrives, does it?
Never.
Never. I've never seen an eagle when I'm eagerly awaiting something. So I don't know. Obviously, I'm still eagerly awaiting.
Maybe in that moment, you are the eagle. Have you ever looked, while looking skyward for the feathered destroyer of vermin, did you ever think for a moment to look down and see if you'd developed to full-fledged feathers? Talons.
Sometimes I look down and I see in a puddle the reflection of Eddie the eagle.
So you've become a different version of an eagle, but you still then therefore a go. You were Eddie the eagerly awaiting that. Would you do an Eddie the eagle? Would you ski jump like that?
I once on a skiing holiday, I went up some bumps. I call them bumps because I'm not sure if it was supposed to be like proper jumps. I was very young, and I think that might have been one of the first times I got knocked out. And I saw the sky about 3 times, snow sky, snow sky, snow sky. And I landed about 100 metres away from my skis. And ever since then, it's just not been right.
Fine. Well, that'll be, Some people, they can channel the Eddie. Some people, they can't. Some would argue you did channel the Eddie there because it sounded like a disastrous failure. But one that we can applaud here on the UCP because we're ambassadors for failures and losers worldwide because this is a gaming podcast. Let's face it. If you weren't a gamer, you'd be someone. All right?
Yeah,
you'd be
true. Yeah.
that guy. You'd be playing polo. You'd be playing golf. You'd be shooting with the bros. But you're not. You're one of life's rejects, and that's why you sat here with this couple of pairs of excuse for cool dudes, wishing you were one of the cool kids. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You're playing a kid's toy, mate. In the dark. Have a word with yourself. This next news.
That's a long neck, isn't it?
I tell you what, that neck is so long, you got to wonder if you're part giraffe.
I look like that mushroom thing out of Mario.
I tell you what,
see the beard.
He's a fan of the visual genre, and he's pulling people from the audio platforms straight to YouTube to witness his neck mushroom. I don't know.
Hold on, let me just do my trousers up. Hold on.
There's been a lot of talk. I think you've come back from Crete a little bit sexually unsatisfied, if I'm honest with you, or Corfu, wherever you've been, because you have been like a rampant donkey this afternoon. There's been talk of dragging your piece along the ground, so we all now know that you are carrying one hell of a weapon. And then you talk about zipping it up. I think this is a man with an overzealous approach to male bonding that I can get behind. No, in fact, I'm going to get in front of him. Here's this next bit of news. Dead by Daylight breaks... I see you've brought me a toy, but you've brought yourself one as well.
Can't wait to discuss this.
I tell you what, your teacher will be dead proud of you, because this is going to take me probably a couple of days to read out. So pull yourself up a pew, listener, as I begin to tell you the story of Dead by Daylight breaking its own player count record. Now, Dead by Daylight broke its own player count record after the Five Nights at Freddy's update. Behaviour Interactive released Dead by Daylight in 2016. It's been supporting the game. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. This is how you keep a game alive. It's been supporting the game with regular updates since then. One of the highlights of these updates is a crossover between various IPs. One of Dead by Daylight's most notable collaborations was with Stranger Things, adding Nancy Wheeler and Steve Harrington as survivors, and the Demigorgon as one of the killers. Another crossover that caught fans' attention added content from Silent Hill, bringing together two iconic titles by introducing Cheryl Mason and the Pyramid Head, respectively, as a new survivor and killer. It's no secret that Dead by Daylight has an impressive list of collaborations, but it was one of the most recent ones that earned the game a new milestone. Dead by Daylight has set a new record for an all-time player count, and we got the numbers for you here, so sit down and imagine counting out this many buttons. 106,029 according to SteamDB. The number was registered on Tuesday, June the 17th. Now you think a game's dead, and then it pops up, exactly like one of those horror movie endings. Here it is, Dead by Daylight. It cannot die. As part of the update, developers added Springtrap, the macabre animatronic who acts as the antagonist in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 as a new killer. The collaboration also features cosmetic items such as Springtrap skins, 2 banners and 4 badges, as well as 3 new achievements to unlock. In addition to this being the highest player count in Dead by Daylight history, wow. It was the highest number of the game has ever achieved in 2025 so far. SteamDB has also listed the game's previous record was set in June 2021 when Dead by Daylight crossed over with Resident Evil and registered 105,093 concurrent players at that time. Behaviour Interactive added Leon and Jill Valentine as survivors and Nemesis T-Type as a killer. The second part of the collaboration was released in August 2022 featuring Ada Wong, Rebecca Chambers as survivors and Albert Wesker as a killer. The video game industry releases many new games every year, but it's positive to see an older title around. Still, Dead by Daylight has stood the test of time thanks to the constant support given to developers, showing their commitment to making improvements and adding new content to keep the community engaged. And if a recent leak is any indication, players will have even more to look forward to from the game in the coming months, with the potential addition of more. That's not just a sprinkle. A full-on spurt of Resident Evil content in Dead by Daylight. Now, all that said and done, I can rest my jaw for a moment as I look to my esteemed co-host, the erstwhile Marathon Gaming, and say to you, make this make sense to me, because to me, from the outside, Dead by Daylight absorbs what I know best and played the most, Friday the 13th play style of killing.
Oh, what a game that was. That's the goal.
Versus Survivors. Now, this mechanic, to those that are new to it, involve you interacting with the environment to produce some sort of killer trap, or for you to escape the environment altogether, therefore leaving the killer unsatisfied. Now, Dead by Daylight continues or expands upon this genre, and there are many different ways to take the bad guy down, but it's never 101 macho and macho. It's more trick him here, set off trap, turn on lights, get the hell out of there. And that's what really plays into the horror genre for me, and I'll be honest with you, has left me thoroughly impressed by this whole franchise, although I have never dipped on anything other than Friday the 13th. So to an esteemed player like yourself, I do believe has done most of his Dead by Daylight on Switch 1.
My most played game on Switch 1.
Holy
stick that in your tea. And my second most played game was Friday the 13th. So people say Nintendo is for kids. That's 2 adult games right there.
So the question I have for you is, are you still playing Dead by Daylight? Were you one of those infamous 106,000 people, or were you balls out in Corfu in that moment, and therefore that high watermark of Dead by Daylight's franchise was left unknowing to you?
Dead by Daylight will never leave me. I had a T-shirt at one point that I got off Etsy with the logo on it, which was like the 1, 2, 3, 4, like tally chart with a slash across it. So I've played Dead by Daylight for hundreds of hours on the Switch. I've then played it on the Steam on a little rubbish little laptop for so many hours. I love starting again, getting all the perks, leveling up the characters. And I did it again on the Xbox or PlayStation 5. I've played it across every platform, and it was fantastic to play it on, obviously, a better visual than the Switch, which is fantastic. However, I have only dibbled back to it when I've got excited about a new killer. There was Chucky at one point. I'm not a massive fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, even though I have seen the film and stuff as well. But there's been a real slew of just constant updates. Talk about keeping the fans happy. And they took the best days of my life on Switch were Friday 13th game, and then it went on to Dead by Daylight. And I'm not embarrassed to say that, because honestly, mate, it was an old school LAN party day. So Castle Kong Dong, I mentioned him earlier, and then I had a friend called Dave as well.
What was his last name?
He came over. Dave Nash.
What was his nickname?
Oh, the guy before that, his name's Gills. And his name is Castle Kong Don. So there's a game called Castle Kong. So basically, Castle Kong was a game a bit like Donkey Kong, like a sort of rip-off of that. And it was on Switch. And I, at one point, was running a competition on YouTube, right? And he just happened to check it out. And he was playing it so much that the developer contacted him, and they actually sent him some stuff, because he I think he was the world champion in that game, got the highest score in the world.
Wow.
So he is the Castle Kong Dong, and that is where it comes from. But coming back to, so me, him, and another friend, I would pick up TVs just off a Facebook Marketplace, little flat screen LCDs, tiny little things like you used to have in your kitchen when you was younger. I'll chuck them behind the sofa, and when those guys would come round, I'd say, bring your docks. And then we'd all sit there with our own TV. We'd get in the same lobby. We did it on Friday 13th, and we done Dead by Daylight. And it is amazing. So anybody who hasn't played Dead by Daylight, I'm going to try and pitch it to you just in 90 seconds. So basically, it's 3 survivors versus 1 killer. So it's a straight-up gangbang, baby. So the 3 of you work together. You don't have to necessarily win. So basically, you've got to survive. So to survive, you don't want to get caught. If you get caught 2 times and put on a hook, I think the 3rd time you die. When you're on a hook, someone can help you off the hook. So your whole time you're evading the killer. However, if you remain stealth so much and you've got to open the gate to escape, you have to repair 4 generators, create light, because they don't like light. So once you open them generators up, it puts power, you can open the gate and get up. However, if you're scared, like most people are when you first play these games, you still won't get good points. The way of playing the game and really winning the game is taunting the hell out of the killer. So you want to be so close to them and you want to engage but not quite get got. So you almost want to hunt the hunter. So you're a survivalist, you're crawling around, you've got a few perks you can use. You can't attack them physically, but there are things you can do. You can blind them with a flashlight. You can sort of stun them as you jump out of a locker. You can hurdle over things. It is the most funnest game. I mean, I haven't found a game funner to play online. I really haven't. And I'm not a massive tough guy in terms of horror games. I know Seb doesn't like it, but I like horror games, but I can't play them for a long time. I get scared. I have to have Mrs. Marathon Gaming sitting close to me because I do get scared. But there's something about the rush and just the companionship of having a few friends with you and you're being like, right, let's take it to this killer. And it's so well supported. It's a really, really good game. The fact that it's been out so long and it's done so well is amazing. I can't see them even needing to make a sequel, which made me think earlier the whole our sequel's dead, because they've just constantly put new killers out there, and you can use the maps. It's quite good, really. What they do is they say, look, you can pay for the new killer and get a survivor with it, or you don't have to, and you don't have to. So I sometimes skip some of them I get. But it's crossed over every franchise you can think of. Name a horror film from the 90s or even 80s to now, and they've basically chucked it in the game. It is phenomenal. It's such a big roster.
Hellraiser.
He's in the game.
Pinhead.
Pinhead's in the game, yeah, it's a killer.
Wow.
I
know I've seen Krueger. I've seen most of the people.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger. You've got Jason. Like I said, it's got Silent Hill, Resident Evil. It's got some of the big modern ones. Like you said with Pinhead, it's gone back to its roots and got in some real original horror things for fans. It's a really, really good game. But there's nothing more scary than being chased by Nemesis or Pyramid Head and stuff like that. It's so fun. And so, to be honest with you, this article's in there maybe to boost myself back to it. Maybe I should put it on the Switch 2 and do a comparison vid of myself of how this has changed.
Mate, honestly, I don't think there would be a better Elysium for me than you doing a video that has Switch 1 to 2 upgrades. And I'll even let you throw that in as one of them. But I just need more of these videos. I need you going back in the back catalogue and taking those games and bringing them forward. Even the ones that were deemed to be a technical marvel. I want to see what Switch 2 can do to them. As for Dead by Daylight, like I said, I dipped my toe in the genre of Friday the 13th, and that was like enough for me. But I have always kind of had an eye on Dead by Daylight, the new killers, as you say. It's a game that really should be dead, but they continue to bring stuff to the platform. The fact that they're
bringing daylight to it.
They're bringing daylight to death. What's this next bit of news? Is this for me?
No, I think I'll hit you with this one.
Okay. I've just seen the game and I've been very tempted to get this. So.
Okay. Okie dokie. Hold on. Let's see how this works out. So if I hit this one, you'd hit the next one. And then I'd hit that one. Yeah, no, I'll hit this one, then that'll work out perfectly for the conclusion. So Game Pass Standard update adds 2 new games to play. So yeah, I did put this in because you and RGT do love this genre as well. So Microsoft has officially announced 2 upcoming additions to the Xbox Game Pass Standard library, Star Trucker and Wild Frost, both of which go live today. So that is live right now, guys. This was June 18th. So by the time you listen to the show, you can check these out. Brilliant. This month has featured a strong lineup for Game Pass from Xbox, highlighting the numerous upcoming games and their day one availability. Subscribers have plenty to look forward to. From the service this month, Xbox Game Pass Standard subscribers can once again play Star Trucker and Wild Frost. This marks the second time these games have been made available to the subscribers, as they were previously removed from the platform. Boo! Developed by Gatsia and Deadpan Games, Wild Frost is a deck-building roguelike, which I remember seeing, I think he was on, maybe from Super Rare Developer. I've seen this. Set in a world of endless winter. While it's quite different from his indie hit, George, don't fall off your chair, Balatro, the 2 games share various gameplay features and high-level design elements. The second available game, Star Trucker, allows players to become truck drivers in outer space and haul cargo. So, I mean, this has got to come straight over to you, George. I mean, hit us with the cargo, with the driving first, and we'll talk about Wild Frost after.
I'll be honest, Star Trucker I've been following for some time. Obviously, as with all these games, they kind of come to PC first, and I saw someone playing it. Now, It's a weird homogeny because you are driving through space. You are literally a space trucker. You have like a truck unit that pulls these space trailers. Some of them.
That's
thousands of
insane
miles
pitch, isn't
long.
it?
It is. Get ready for this. And in it, you have to kind of like go outside sometimes and perform repairs with your special tool. You come inside, you've got to fix things. You've got to kind of follow the correct sort of highways to get to the space stations and planets. It does interest me, and I've heard some good stuff. I did see what could only be described as I can't remember what publication or online website I saw it on, but the review could have been Push Square. Wasn't exactly generous towards it, but to be fair, if it's not your kind of game, maybe it's not the sort of thing you want to play. But it does have that feeling of a game that's maybe started VR, but then they lost the guts for it, and it's ended up being this kind of strange dichotomy between a driving sim and then getting out. If anything, it reminds me more of Alaskan Road Truckers, the game I was excited for, downloaded, and then kind of lost an appetite for almost instantly. But Star Trucker on Games Pass is not a bad place where you can dip in and dip out, and it costs you nothing. Well, it costs you $9.99 a month, whatever it is these days. But you've also had a gamut of all the other games. So Star Trucker being on there, no bad thing one would imagine. As for Wild Frost, you've turned up, Scotty, and you've slapped me in the face with what can only be described as the corpse of a fish, aka a dead fish. You slapped me clean round the face with a piece of haddock, fresh out the Thames estuary. You could have picked any word, you could have said river, you chose estuary, and you tripped over it. What an amateur. You're right. I learnt from that. I learnt from a lesson. Okay? A muddy sea/river channel is not something to be thrown around in the mouth of a turkey teeth mofo. I just know it's not, right? So, there you go. I'm excited for Star Trucker. Tell me if you know any more other than what you've told me about Wild Frost. Balatro, big game to me. I was only playing it last night. And it's funny that you couldn't, because I didn't mention it in the intro, but I had another go on Balatro yesterday afternoon, evening. I thoroughly enjoy Balatro. To think that style is then thrown into a deck building game, which Balatro kind of is, but then set with a story in the background, a world of endless winter. Yeah, colour me intrigued. I want a slice. Are you a Balatro player, Scotty, or not?
No, I got the game after the hype died down, and I love games. I love card games. I know how to play poker, even though it's not poker. And I do like my roguelikes, but for some reason I didn't put enough time in for it to click with me. Because I had at the time a lot of games on the go, so I thought, you know what, I'm happy to let people enjoy this. But yeah, I supported it. I paid for it. I downloaded it.
Top man. What do you think about them broadening their card genre into this deck building roguelike?
Well, I think it's definitely a bit of a cult classic. And the reason why I say that is because Super Rare Games, which is a British developer, a bit like Limited Run Games and Strictly Limited, and they're more of my favourite. They don't seem to want to con the people too much. They don't keep increasing or making extra stock. I do think they are quite good for the collectors. They don't completely ruin their pocket. And Wild Frost was a game of theirs, which I remember seeing and being a bit interested in. So I've just checked it out to see if it's still available physical. It's sold out. So it's definitely got a following. So for it to be considered to be made physical by a publisher, and then the fact that it's sold out, because not every time they're sold out, especially not this quick after release. This is a game that's come out physical in the last month, and it's already sold out physically. So it's definitely got some legs to it. I imagine it will hit the ground running, probably just off the back of saying it's from the guys that made Balatro. But this game came out, when did Balatro come out? Because we were talking about it early part of last year for Game of the Year. And I think Wild Frost, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was, it's 2023 game. So it might have been the pre-successor before Balatro or at a similar time. So they might have just forgot about the game, put all their eggs in the basket of Balatro because it flew off that flew digitally off the eShop.
Get yourself and this in community corrections and put us right about Wild Frost because we want to know. In fact, I may even get it downloaded today as we speak. So with that all said and done, Games Pass looks to be getting a nice little smorgasbord of games. Got a little bit of extra news for you here, sir. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it. So what
Are
we've
you
got
pumped
here is
and primed?
I'm definitely pumped.
Okay, well, let me sliding behind you, bend you over. Now, people think that something inappropriate is going to happen here, and I'm going to take your right arm and tuck it between your legs and execute the cleanest swift and jerk fisherman's power bomb you've ever seen in
Oh,
your
put me
life.
through a table. Oil me up and put me through it.
You threw it. You're on the floor. Your twitching body lies prone across the debris of a broken decorator's table as I climb up on top of the tree near the trampoline and launch onto you an elbow. Now, Mumsy's just come out. She's seen that we've got a little bit raucous as I break your orbital socket as I land down with this piece of news. WWE 2K25 is adding Shaquille O'Neal to the roster. Now, you can go sit with Mumsy while she holds a wet flannel on your head, or if this happened in the school playground, a folded piece of wet paper towel can cure syphilis. WWE is adding Shaquille O'Neal to the roster. WWE 2K25's next celebrity guest DLC character is none other than NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, who has plenty of experience in both wrestling and gaming. There are 5 post-launch DLC packs planned for WWE 2K25. I feel like I've just been in one permanent ad read, with the first one having already launched back in May. This was the new wave pack centered around rising stars Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Guila, and Stephanie Vacure. This is also a special guest character planned, but this has been postponed for the foreseeable future. The next WWE 2K25 DLC character pack will be released on June 25th, and it will see the worlds of professional wrestling and basketball collide, dubbed the Dunk and Destruction Pack. It includes the towering Great Khali. Jesus Christ, that man's got a bad...
He's a big man.
He's a big man.
Hey, don't stand next to him at a urinal.
He moves like a cardboard cutout. The hardcore TNA legend Abyss and 3 NBA stars who had previously appeared on WWE programming. The first 2 of these mystery guests were revealed to be New York Knicks point guard Jalen Brunson and Indiana Pacers player Tyrese Halliburton. And new gamers know who the third will be. In a new post on the official 2K WWE 25 Twitter account, aka X, move with the times, guys, let it go. It's not the bird anymore, it's just a crotch chop. DX. Account developer Visual Concepts revealed the iconic Shaquille O'Neal will be added to the game as part of the Dunk Construction Pack on June. Shaq's entrance music can also be seen, in which he walks down the ring and calls out to the crowd as sparklers. There's a budget of an entrance for you. Kids with
sparklers.
Erupt behind him. Yeah, Shaq. Well, we're gonna hand out some sparklers to the front row. That's all you get, pal. They erupt behind him. Oddly enough, he doesn't enter to one of his own songs, but rather just a generic track. I guess he didn't have the licensing not only for his face but his music as well. It's which one do you want, guys? We could have generic dude coming down with Shaq's music, or we can have Shaq. I think it makes sense to have Shaq and coming down to generic wrestler entrance theme too. Scotty, I am now very loyally in M. Dickey and the Wrestling Empire camp where I get my wrestling fixes. In fact,
so you're more underground.
Well, I grabbed the copy of WWE 2K24 when PlayStation made it available for free, and I downloaded it immediately. I wanted to see what the cool cats were playing. But the bones that were left on the Sahara Desert for me to try and work with WWE 2K24, career mode as I would like it, gone. Just gone. It's now this manager drivel and...
That's my problem, mate. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's just this faceless career mode.
It forces you to do stuff. I get every WWE game, right, pretty much, and I go, hopefully there'll be a normal career mode. I think the last one was probably it was pre-COVID. I don't know if it's 17, 18 or 19. There hasn't been just a standard choose a wrestler, work your way up to a title. It forces you to do things. I have to do this, do that, the journey of this person.
I hate that. You're playing it and it's like...
I know the journey. I've seen it on telly.
But
I don't need to play it.
What turned my stomach on that specific angle most harshly was that I'd absolutely beaten a guy down. And then I'd pinned him and I won. And it was like, no, you've lost because you can't do it that way. You should have executed that slam we told you to, and you should have done the pin.
Yeah, it makes you do certain things.
Absolute drivel, mate. Absolute drivel. They deserve that game, and the wrestling mechanics are kind of okay. That game deserves to die. So they learn a lesson.
It looks great. I love your passion and how true you stay to Wrestling Empire. I really do respect that. But I'm wondering, obviously, there's going to be more basketball players. It'd be interesting. It won't just be one in a pack, Duncan Destruction. That'd be silly. Just one Shaquille O'Neal coming, nobody else. Be interesting to know who else comes to it. So this will obviously boost.
Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton.
But basketball's very popular in Eastern Europe and obviously North America. So it'd be interesting to see. This will probably ramp it up a little bit. I'm wondering, are they going to, with Duncan Destruction, do you think that's going to be some sort of mini game within it? Are they going to do some sort of Rocket League-esque thing where it's not just wrestling, you've got to score points or something? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I might be creating something out of nothing here.
I don't need to turn up like the Grinch burst your WWE 2K25 bubble.
Yeah.
The Duncan Destruction pack is basically the Great Khali Abyss and they threw dudes, and that's all you're going to get.
Do you know what? Take it out of the news. I'm not having that.
Removed.
No way.
Gone. We've got
delete that.
Mate, the new producer's turned up. It's Alid Jones.
Hey, Alid. Is that the Snowman guy?
Yeah. The immortal cocaine smuggler.
Well, let's not break the fourth wall. Let's hear him sing.
Fantastic. Shame he's not mic'd up.
Brilliant. I was just trying to think of the words. Couldn't even think of it.
We're walking in the air.
That's the one.
If you want to hear a desecration of that, you've got to go back to the Retro Man Christmas special where I just don't.
I'm playing Nintendo Switch too.
Something like that. In his fingers.
It's got... Right, I'm going to do this next article in that, singing it, okay?
Okay.
It's got 6 new games coming out in July. The first is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, July 11th. That was quite good to the key, wasn't it?
I was like, how did he do that?
Donkey Kong Bonanza, July 17th. With Shadow Labyrinth, July 18th. And we got Super Mario Party Jamboree. My voice is breaking for the second time. Switcher 2 edition, plus Jamboree TV, July 24th.
I thought you were going to make that rhyme. I thought he set himself up an absolute pearler. This is going to be perfect. And then you just bottled it. Your voice broke. You got into girls and you started drinking.
Okay. No Sleep Academy, Date AI, The Sarbonum Files, July 25th. And Wild Hearts S also comes out to Switch 2 in July 25. Christ, that was hard, but I stuck with it. Give myself a clap. Thank you.
Everyone's walking, you've got some postie somewhere walking down some back street with a parcel full of this stuff. He's listening to the podcast and he's clapping when he shouldn't be clapping. Oh. He's got himself shivved on the back streets, and that's on you. But, let's not let the guilt resonate, because I want to speak. I want to use this.
Hey, that's not clapping. That's Mumsy upstairs with pasta.
You brought him back?
No. I didn't say. I just said pasta. It could be tagliatelle, for all you know. I didn't say pastura.
Badabinkster's dad, tagliatelle. Right.
This is a big one. And I'm glad it's fallen. This is let me just say, this is a big one, George, okay? Let's give the people what they want. And by people, I mean the owner of the show.
Okay. What does he want?
Apparently, he just keeps on going about sliders. I just told him, get a pair of Crocs. You don't need to wear flip-flops. It's 2025. It's perfectly fashionable. Yeah. And he's like, I want to be a pitcher. I want to be a batter. And I'm like, look, I was a little bit taller.
Put your brakes on. Slow down. Okay. I want you to chew your food. I wanted to talk about the Switch 2 games coming out in July because...
Oh, yes.
Hear me out here for a moment, Scotty. This week we got a Donkey Kong Bonanza behind the
what would you-
scenes look from Ninty, didn't we? We got a
Yeah, we
Nintendo
got like
Direct solely
yes,
based
we did.
around Donkey
Yeah.
Kong Bonanza. Now, we make no bones about it. You're a rabid Ninty Switch fan. You are tatted up with every single Nintendo mascot, going all the way back to Jumpman. Coming all the way forward to the modern era, we see the Switch 2 squeezing out a terrain deformation platform game with under the guise of one of their champions, Donkey Kong. What did you make of what you saw?
Hey, here's a news one for you. Didn't watch it. Didn't need to. Because I'm going to get it no matter what I saw. I want to go into it. You know when you know there's a movie you want to see? This shocked you, but I'm going to bring it back for you. Right, there's a movie you want to see, and you go, shall we watch the trailer? And you go, no, babe, because we're going to watch it anyway. Why ruin the best bits? I've seen enough teasers about how different the game is and how superior and enhanced it looks from other Donkey Kong games. I saw that Direct come up. I saw the odd clips come up from it, and I was like, shall I sit through and watch it and hype myself up because it's not going to come out for a fair few weeks? Or should I just keep this innocent memories that I've already got? I know it's going to be banging. I'm going to get it regardless. So I haven't seen it. I didn't need to watch it. I don't want you to describe it too much for me because I want to go in
it's
drier than the Sahara on a hot
much
day.
like I did the romantic music, which wasn't even romantic in the end for your romantic prelude. You might want to just do some music while I want to just get into the bones of what I saw. Now, the terrain deformation.
Let me give you a beat.
The terrain deformation
Dog.
was impressive. Donkey Kong slapped on the top of it. I don't know. I need to just play it first. It's coming out at a bad time for me, or good time, depending on how you look at it, but I would say a bad time, July 17th.
Yeah, for you, yeah.
But I'll get it on return, or I'll get it on the digital, but I like to get the Nintendo first-party ones physical. I don't know why. I just feel like it's the right thing to do. It feels good.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm not on the fence. I think I'm going to buy it, but I'm intrigued by some of the directions inside of it. Like some of the jokes didn't land for me within it. So yeah, interesting to see how it reviews, not only in the aforementioned websites we mentioned earlier, but also from a player score point of view. There's plenty to do. It looks very exciting. It's very different. It's kind of like maybe built for the Fortnite generation a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. But either which way you cut it, very interesting and different direction, I would say, for Ninja to take Donkey Kong in. Now, let's rest that there, because you got excited. You watched me step up to the mound. You watched me reach into my pocket and pull out what can only be described as a baseball. And I'm going to pitch you what's only known in the industry as a knuckleball with this piece of news. MLB The Show 25 releases new update for June. Sandy. Now, I didn't mention earlier that I have been playing this, thoroughly enjoying it, but the scale of MLB The Show 25 is beyond my comprehension. I'm still at college, by the way, in the game. It now lets you play through school, high school, you go into college, then you go into an MLB feeder team, and then and only then do you end up playing for an MLB major team. That has thrown the gamut of MLB 25 wide open. I also saw it was available for the Switch, quickly checked online. It's sadly the Switch 1 version, so it looks like two dogs. It looks like two dogs being sick on an outdoor path, unfortunately. It does look slightly better than that, obviously, but I'm going to wait until MLB 26 until I double dip on that bad boy. But let's give you the news. Some of this I'm happy with, some of this I'm not happy with, but we'll get it out, and then we'll see where we end up. MLB The Show 25 releases new update for June 25. San Diego Studio has released MLB The Show Game Update 15, which is version 1.15 on PS5, Nintendo Switch, and version 1.071 on Xbox Series X and S. The MLB The Show 25 update includes the addition of new player models, enhancing the variety and accuracy of the roster. It has addressed multiple bugs with the fixes targeting issues in the Road to the Show mode. Congratulations, as well as core gameplay mechanics. Since MLB The Show 25 came out in March 25, the game has received regular updates aimed at improving the gameplay and making the overall experience smoother. The May MLB The Show patch, for example, added some important gameplay adjustments with new gear specifically designed for the GOAT difficulty level. The difficulty level in MLB 25. If you're playing it and you've been playing it a long time, the sliders walk you into an almost impossible situation to think that you can go beyond whatever the hell was in the previous ones, and now there's a new GOAT level. What does that even look like, guys? I mean, come on. Over 40 new player models were visually refreshed in that update, including well-known athletes like Shuhei Ohtani and Jacob deGrom. Now the June patch is out for the baseball video game MLB 25 The Show. It's not the biggest update the game has received, but it still brings some helpful fixes and quality of life changes. On the gameplay side, a bug that caused a blank screen when switching pitches in head-to-head matches has been fixed. Road to the Show update addresses a freeze that could have happened after getting a college offer during the MLB Combine, which is great news because that's exactly where I am. Stadium creators also got a fix, making sure foul lines now work the way they're supposed to. Congratulations. The online home run derby saw improvements too, with more accurate home run counts and corrected player stats display. Aside from the bug fixes, the update also makes the game look and feel more realistic. Over 40 player models, as we mentioned, have been updated. To reflect a more accurate appearance. Equipment visuals are updated too, with cleats from Adidas and Under Armour, custom Franklin batting gloves, and the Victus BWI-TT7 bat is now available.
Oh, that's better than the BWI-TT6, that one.
The upgrade in those bats is incredible. For MLB The Show 25's Diamond Dynasty mode, the update adds a new filter for Diamond Quest rewards. This should make it easier for players to go through the rewards and keep track of what they've unlocked. Now, I know you're a cash MLB gamer. None of this probably makes that much of a difference to you. But to me, an MLB fanboy as I am, sat here right now in my Oreos hat, I love them all. I have no favourites. I love them all equally, although Rangers, baby. I admire them for adding the GOAT difficulty level, but how many people are playing on that? I mean, not many people play as a pitcher, I know, and I did specifically start this year as an expert in both batting and pitching. I still prefer pitching completely, 100% more. Sorry,
George, you get led, just in case people are thinking the same thing as me, in this GOAT mode, which I'm assuming is not GOAT Simulator, it's in the best players. Is it just a difficulty, or is it you actually get to play as like legends like Babe Ruth and stuff like that?
As far as I'm concerned, it's an added difficulty slider on the slider. So I think there's veteran, and there's. As soon as I play within 4 or 5 games...
It was already too hard, wasn't it? Who's this for?
Well,
surely
exactly.
It was too hard.
After 2 or 3 games, the way I play, I'm right up against the hardest difficulty. And then the games come to in this... And one thing you can say about the sliders is this. It does keep you engaged because it's never too easy. It's never too hard. It's consistently a challenge. But sometimes you have a good couple of games, so it notches the slider up. So you're just getting into your rhythm and it goes, we'll make this more difficult. Boom. And you're like, oh, then you have 5 games of losses. You can't pitch a thing. Then it goes, oh, we've got too difficult. We'll notch it back down again. Suddenly you start winning everything again. And my inconsistency with those sliders is what frustrates me. And they always tend to go up right at a pivotal moment, like, oh, we need to win this game. By the way, boom, slider's gone up. Damn you! I can't ever get a happy medium with it. I still love it. Like I say, the almost cavernous size of it now, as you play through a kid to grown-up career, I do find it humorous, obviously, because I scan my face in.
Yeah.
And I'm 18 with wrinkles and a beard. But, let's not that get in. I wish they would do, 2 alternates, like maybe a vet that never made it out of the AAA area, but then you suddenly maybe get recognised and then you're sort of on your grind to be recognised for the skill that you always had, or you come in as a kid. That would be great if you could do that. And even if it randomised... You always find...
Yeah, so you always find it like you have to... I know what you mean. You want to make it realistic, but then it trips you up later on. I remember it in Undisputed. I remember being like, I don't want to make my boxer 18 turn pro. I want to make him, similar age to me. Then all of a sudden I've got a world title fight. My stamina's 10. I look and he's 107. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's outrageous.
I
And they ask you to retire every 5 minutes. As soon as I put he was over 30, every time I have a fight, do you want to retire? No, thank you. I'm the fountain of youth. Bring it on.
Yeah, 30 is not the end of a boxer's career, surely.
It's getting there, mate. It's getting there. It's similar to football. It's limited. It's a young man's game.
If you're the best, you can hang on in. Surely.
Well, let's say George Foreman became world heavyweight champion of the world at age 50. So stick that in your pipe. But I'll tell you what, going back to the sliders, George, I know I caught you mid-riff there. It's these American games. I know we talked about it previously. You don't get it with FIFA, or EA, or whatever it's called. But with the Madden, it's either I smash them 50-0, or I get smashed 50, or I get smashed 50-0. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a similar experience with Madden myself. I was going through, and I think I've mentioned on air, I was the greatest team ever going. Suddenly, once I got the hang of the controls on that new version of Madden, like the first games are a bit of a fumble, don't get me wrong. And I play as a quarterback, so you can be involved in every element of it. Because obviously in the career mode, you can be, one of the other guys, an example, and it presents quite a disjointed experience when you traditionally played American football games historically. So if you pick to play as a quarterback, you get that traditional Madden experience while also going through career, which I think is great. Now, the first couple of times I was like, I fumbled the ball a little bit, and it was a bit embarrassing because it's like, oh damn it, just learning the controls. So it dropped the sliders down, presumably. So then all of a sudden, as I say, I was the greatest player in the greatest team ever known. We were guaranteed to be Super Bowl. Then the sliders went up, and all of a sudden, they're all talking about how the team's in desperate need for a new quarterback. And I'm thinking, just notch your slider down.
I'm right here, guys. Yeah, I'm right here, guys. Yeah, don't need to be so rude. So is that gonna? Is this obviously isn't really going to make a difference to you then? Is it that bit of news for the show?
I'm always happy to see an upgrade. I'm always happy to see fixes within with the format, because there are times obviously where games are a bit broken, and if you got through the combine and you pop out the other side and the game freezes, that's pretty demoralising. Also, I beat down on it. I have to admit that I'm probably not the best MLB player. I probably do choose to play it in a rather unorthodox way. They give you the option to play as a pitcher, but everything about the game screams this is for hitting big hits. This is all about the batter's experience. So, maybe the GOAT sliders have more of a influence on what you're doing. But from my point of view, as a pitcher, it makes it super difficult not just to pitch in the dirt every time. Like it is it is really difficult. And I play it like, I've said this before, I know my way of playing MLB is also unorthodox. I treat it like a turn-based JRPG. That's how I play it, and I love it for that reason. I hope it never changes. Make it more realistic. Because you can play with like a golf swing meter to determine your power and accuracy. I don't want any of that. I want my stats to dictate how accurate I am. I want my stats to dictate how good each different pitch that I can do is. I don't want to have to fight it like this. I want it to be a JRPG. So make it that way. I think that brings us to what can only be described as a bumper news episode. You've lifted every stone out there in the gaming ecosystem to bring in some news stories that I don't think we've covered like this for a long time. So there was a lot of news there. I'm sure within that you'll find something you find thoroughly interesting. And I can only say, Scott, thank you for producing, because you are guest producer as well, and or tearing probably one of the greatest news episodes we've ever done. Now, if you're on the ether, on the sidelines, you're one of the cheap seats, the freeloaders as we call them, I don't hate down on you. I say fair play to you. You found something you like and you found a way to enjoy it for free. Now that's what's called a winner's mentality. But if you want to step up from that experience and you want to deeply ingrain yourself within the world of the UCP, now we've got some tiers. I'm not going to bore them with you, right? Go back and listen to the other shows. You're big fans. But if you want to get a T-shirt, you need to be top level. If you want your name read out like we're about to, you can get in at bottom level. That also unlocks the Meet the Creator section where we host a get-together. And it also gets you, the Discord's free, but I do believe that gets you into the Unglorious chat as well. So, really, it's the gift that kept on giving. Every year you'll get a new T-shirt. I mean, yada, yada, yada. What you want to hear is the names of the people that decided that they were going to jump on board. So, who starts, who finishes? It's determined now. Would you like to go first or second, Scotty?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, these are the people responsible for George, for you being able to see George on YouTube, because he was literally like Gollum in a cave, apparently, on the last one, which I haven't seen. So we're going to kick it off.
In every episode up until now, I have been a dark, shadowy, nefarious-looking man.
No one's seen you. You've been like the Emperor with your hood up, in Star Wars? Star Wars. Don't upset you.
To be honest with you, I pulled down my hooded shaft, we put the lights on, and this is what's been revealed.
Okay, let me get my reading glasses, because the first name is Ceenox. And we love Ceenox, so thank you, Ceenox, for your support to the show. You don't have to do it,
but you do. The greatest Swedish export since the Volvo.
I thought he was going to say IKEA.
That's too obvious.
Yeah, too obvious. I didn't know Volvo was Swedish.
Then maybe not. I think they are. Let's say they are. Ceenox, Community Corrections. In fact, I'm 98% sure that they are. Up next, the one-man clip machine.
Yes.
It's the mighty, strong, one-man George fan club. Send only one man into battle. That's how tough he is. Other people need an army. Other people need a fan club. Numerous people in it. I just need the warm embrace of a man who will protect the decency of a Dreamcast. It's Carlos.
What a handsome guy he is, and what a funny guy he is.
He's a legend.
Here's another legend, Firm Returns, and I've had the pleasure of speaking with Firm Returns. So I remember we played, I think it was Fall Guys, once on the Switch, and we had it up on like Discord or WhatsApp, and we sort of FaceTimed each other. He's another top guy, and he's a supporter of the show. So thank you to Firm Returns. Lovely bloke.
I think you've forgotten this bit. You need to come up with like an advert for Firm Returns.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I know sometimes I do like to take things too far and create law within law, watching law through a window of more law. So I thought maybe I'll tone it down slightly.
No.
If you want me to go full mode, I can go. Is that what you want?
It's what we need.
Okay, put down your copy of City AM. You don't need that. Throw out the Times. You don't need that. Don't take any more TED Talks. Delete that. Unsubscribe on YouTube. If you want any financial advice, you've got to check out Firm Returns. You don't need to listen to LBC on the radio or hear opinions from these highbrow journalists. I want to hear my economics from the one man that matters, and that is Firm Returns. And he's a gamer. Who do you trust, politicians or gamers? I rest my case.
We don't have supporters here. We have paid advertisement slots. Because up next, the finest food you will find in New York is provided by Trestles New York, also at home while we recorded in New York in season 2. Couldn't find a better place. No one does better wings than Trestles. Nobody. And the happy hour is one that never, ever, ever stops. So if you're in Queens, check out Trestles. Who's next?
Does Trestles do bagels? Because it just, New York screams bagel to me. Is that something that's on the menu?
If you rock up, Trestles will do you out.
Wow, book a flight. I need another holiday. It's been a few days. Right, next up we've got... I feel like can you have this one, please? Because I love listening to you. Full stop.
Buongiorno, bada bingster. Everybody stand up, sir. And salute, sir. And everybody sit down, sir. Yes, sir. Gaming emoji, controller emoji, heart emoji, Italian flag emoji, sir. Salute, sir. Non c'è male. Stammi bene,
Wow.
bada bingster. Stammi bene.
Wow. And now all of a sudden we're in the top 10 Italian podcast chart because it's the algorithm has been wobbled against the back
Someone
ropes
said
there.
to me the other day, they said, when you do actually...
Badabingster, what a legend.
This was off air. This was in a conversation with an Italian man, genuine Italian man, and I try my best. He said to me, George, do you know you have the most perfect Southern Italian accent? I have to look sometimes. And I was like, really? Because it sounds like an Englishman struggling through Italian pronunciation. But if that's what Southern Italians sound like, fair play to you. Wow. A Lincolnshire man struggling with his teeth sounds exactly like a Southern Italian man. I don't know.
He's very authentic, I think.
Well, thank you.
And I'll tell you what is an authentic way of calling your cat over. You know when you put your hand and you go, puss, 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 you rub your fingers together to try and call your cat over.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So another authentic way is you get a can of tuna, you pull the lid back, and as soon as you pull the lid off that tuna, they can hear it. And then you put your fingers in, you give it a little tingle.
What sort of noise do you think that would make?
With a bit of moisture. And the reason why I say that is one of our loyal supporters, long-time show fan and Discord active community member, is Tingle Tuna. What a guy.
I've never thought of going down that road before, but you're absolutely right. Now, last week, thank you, Tingle Tuna. Last week, I described this guy as a rebuilt Robocop stroke monkey. But this time, I'm deciding that he's literally uploaded his own sort of brain to the internet. But while he was doing that, it got homogenized with a chimpanzee. And this man, therefore, is known as Digital Monkery.
I thought he was the DLC in the new Donkey Kong game, Digital Monkery.
If you don't get it physical, if you don't get Donkey Kong Bonanza physical, you're getting Digital Monkery. Who's next, sir?
Up next, we have got the Gaming Gram. The Gaming Gram, how would you describe the Gaming Gram, George, in a sentence?
I would say he deals in games, but provides them a gram at a time.
Wow. So he's the drug dealer of the video game underworld, is what you're saying.
He's the game. I don't want to put those connotations. He's the game.
Yeah, the game. Yes, sorry. And, everything's a drug now. Caffeine's a drug. Drugs aren't necessarily bad. Paracetamol's a drug. That does good. Kills pain. Do you know what else kills pain? This next man.
This next man kills pain. He is the bald border, but he lives almost like a germ on the surface of your skin, waiting for that opportunity to penetrate you when you get cut or a graze. He slips inside your body, takes you over, removes all follicles, and makes you amazing at skateboarding.
Oh. Wow. This next... I didn't know where to go with that.
No, I don't even know where I went with that.
No. Right, next up we have got Boba, a.k.a. Boba Loba, a.k.a. Was it Boba going... I want to say brown. Did he go brown?
He's in a relationship now.
Oh, in that case, Boba, I love you. We'll just keep it simple, I suppose.
We don't want to put any... We don't want to... Yeah.
No, yeah. Keep them demons at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking of relationships, here's a product of a failed relationship, my ginger red-headed stepson. Now, most people, when they exit a relationship, throw stepsons away like a cum rag. Not me, I collect them up. And this is my proudest possession, Ginge, my red-headed stepson. Not only is he swollen, he's also incredible at games.
Also known as Egnig, if you say Ginge backwards, which is pretty cool.
Is that the first time the word cum rag has been used on air?
Do you know what? I wasn't going to point it out, and I'm not going to say it, because you've said it twice, and there's like a 3-strike rule normally.
You're right. This is what the Attitude Era represents, so just bear that in mind.
Yeah. Listen, I've got to say, I'm corporate marathon gaming, so really what I should be doing is putting you in a handicap match against Seb and RGT for the belt. But I'll put you in that match once you're brutally exhausted from finishing a previous match.
That's exactly what you'd do.
That's Wrestling Empire for you. And I'll tell you what, Wrestling Empire might be the greatest retro game for wrestling, but the greatest retro gamer might just be Harvey Retro.
Oh,
What a guy.
absolutely. Do you know what? Harvey Retro is like the lord of retro, to the point where he rides Retro Gamer Thomas like a steed.
Oh, I love that guy. I love being a steed.
Well, if you want to get ridden by the Lord of Darkness, all you got to do is drop on all fours, mate, and he will make your dream come true. Now, up next, talking of dreams come true, separated by some distance now from the apps, by quite some margin, now operating as the UCP's global product placement provider, we have the immortal and beautiful Emma Sharp.
Then up next, his location is unknown. He's not in Munich. We've ticked that off, I think, previously. I'm trying to think where else he's going to be. He's not in Leipzig. Where else? Where else is it? He's not there. Freiburg, sort of southwest.
He's not there.
He's not there. Wolfsburg. I'm trying to think of.
He might be near the VW factory. He might. I
went on a stag do to Hamburg once.
Did you see him there?
He wasn't. Well, he's nowhere near Berlin, so we can cross that off. But I know they're saying nowhere near, but I don't know how far to look, because I feel like, you know, Where's Wally would pretend he wasn't somewhere, but he was right there. You couldn't see him. So I think he's close to Berlin. Now, I've been to Berlin twice myself, looking for nowhere near Berlin, and he wasn't there. However, Frankfurt is just west of Berlin. Have we covered Frankfurt?
I think that's where he is.
I think so as well.
Let's look at it this way. He's a fan of the sausage.
Hey. And he eats it the long way.
Sideways.
And it's probably it's the tastiest way. And I like to get the sausage, put it in my mouth, and it looks like you've got a permanent smile. Oh, do you know what's nice in New York? Corn dogs. Do you remember them? Do they sell that at Trestles?
Yeah, everyone loves a corn dog. I just have visions of you pinning Greg down and give him not a Glaswegian smile, but a Cumberland smile as you retch this sausage across his cheeks.
I tell you what, when I'm hungover, do you know who makes a lovely Cumberland sausage? This next subscriber. You know she does.
You're absolutely right. And it's our collected many different baby daddies, but only one mumsy.
Now, here's one for the incest pool, the RGT fan club.
They're all family members. Up next, the mighty, the mighty Peter Brocklehurst. He's the sort of guy that just headbutts bridges and they fall down.
Now, this next person, he doesn't have brown hair. He's not a brunette. He doesn't have dark hair, nor is he a silver fox. He's got kind of like a Amarillo blondie type hair, like a lid, and it sort of screws off. It's a yellow top. I'm describing a Marmite tub, but I realised obviously it was a bit far-fetched because lots of things are yellow at the top. This is Billy Marmite.
Legend.
And I know previously you said he was related to, I think it was RGT said, to Dickie Bovril. Dickie Bovril.
Richard Bovril, yeah.
Richard Bovril. I'm just trying to think of any other relations that we know of Billy Marmite.
Oh, you know. You know who he is. Val Vegemite.
Oh, Vegemite. I'm going to have a Marmite egg sandwich after this show. So I'll be thinking of Billy when I have that. So thank you to Billy, because you are making me hungry right now.
Okay. Well, that means I get to pedal up the hill on the man transformer, the one-man transformer. He goes
no, you don't. No, you don't. I'll take this one because I have to give you a nice scenario, which is a new thing between us. You enjoyed it last time. You was on a roundabout in a park and you said those words. You know, it's a bit like saying Voldemort. You're not supposed to say it, but you know, it's a guilty pleasure. So I'm going to take this one. Probably my favourite Simon, and I know lots of Simons, including Simon Says and other Simons. But this is Simon Pryke, and he's a top guy and probably my most favourite Simon because Simon says this, Simon says that. I just find that like you're a bully. It's like, stop saying, make me do things. Whereas Simon Pryke, he just treats me as an equal. He's a real down-to-earth guy. So I just want to say, Simon Pryke, you're my favourite Simon.
Wow. Well, from one Simon to another, give me the insight.
Right, okay, I'll give you the insight. So last time we was in a park and you were stuck on a roundabout. So this time you're shopping for a new pet. You're at Pets at Home. Okay, you're going through, you're looking at all the cute animals. Yeah, close your eyes, get right into the zone.
Yeah,
you're getting all the cute animals. You've saved up all your pennies that Mumsy's given you. You've seen a beautiful little hamster. It's a beautiful hamster, but I tell you what, it's jacked. It is ripped. Wow. Now, by any means is it fat. It's looking good. It's a buff hamster. It looks so buff, you're thinking, this reminds me of someone. I'm going to name this hamster Fat Zangief. So you walk over to the counter at Pets at Home. Other pet suppliers do exist, however, they don't sponsor the show. Pets at Home do, so we'll stick with Pets at Home if they're still around. And you pay the cashier, and then you go to walk out to show Mumsy in the car your new pet hamster called Fat Zangief. And oh no, what's this? You trip on the threshold. The box splits open. The hamster runs out frantically. You look over. There's a high-arched transit van driving down. The hamster stops. It looks scared. It looks up at the driver. It looks back at you. He looks back at the driver. He looks back at you. He looks at the camera also because it's filmed like a documentary. He winks at the camera just to let them know it's okay. Things will be fine. I'm just an actor. And then the car is about to splatter your new hamster. So you scream from the top of your lungs. You're like, no! Shake it away, George. You're in despair, okay? Your hamster's about to get squished. You need to call for Mumsy to come and stop that vehicle like Superman. Put a hand in front of the bonnet and stop it. Call for her, George. Call for her.
Well, no. Am I calling for Mumsy?
Well, you'll be calling your calling your hamster.
So,
okay.
This is great directing. This is great directorship. So I'm stumbling as this is happening.
You stumbled. You've hit the floor. You're on the floor. You look up. Little Fat Zangief's run across the road, possibly about to get splattered. And, you know, really, if it does get splattered, its last words it should hear should be its name from its new owner.
You shout action when you want this, and I'll come and execute it.
Okay. Rolling down, cameras are on, lights are on, backup dancers are on, RGT hanging from the chandelier on, and 5, 4, 3, 2, action.
Zangief! I don't think it was my finest work, but it got us out the subscribers section quite neatly.
I'll tell you what it did. It took us over 3 hours. It took us over a milestone there. That was a 3 hour and then some show. I can only apologise.
When we did, it'd be dark, and
I'll tell you what, it's good.
Thing would be gone.
I'll tell you what, it's good though, because I like to listen on my commute to work, and I sometimes will finish the show halfway through my drive home. So it gets me to work, but doesn't quite get me home. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that will be appreciative of the fact that this is a whole commute day worth of recording.
Buzzsprout Canva AI, if you're listening, I think you should make a big point of this. What he's just said. Just think about this. You've heard this. You've written this. Your algorithm's gone, George mentioned Game Fest earlier, News Fest. This is interesting. News Fest. We've also mentioned a bumper-sized show. Let's see what the name the show gets given. It's probably going to be called Long and Winding Road. Now, the Long and Winding Road of the subscribers is finished. Thank you to every single one of those that supports. Thank you to the freeloaders. That's probably the reason why we just bought a bulb rather than getting some highfalutin ring illumination for me. But there we go. Now,
I've got a can of Iron Brew, so thank you.
Extra as well.
Yeah, extra.
79 of your English pence not to be sold separately multi-pack can.
Yeah. Oh, good old Mr. Patel.
Good old Londis. Right, now we arrive at the point in the show, if you're a fan, and if it's your first time, then this is how we segue to the end, friend. Hoping to play.
So I'm going to obviously want to play Mario Kart, but I do want to check out that rematch on the Xbox.
Yes.
So to be honest with you, I do want to check that out. And I also said previously I want to play GTA 4. I haven't done. I've heard RGT finished it, but I've been busy. It's been hot. It's been a lot of worky things going on. And I've heard RGT mention that he may well be announcing the next game soon. So that's interesting. I have been playing a bit of that Pinball FX as well, because I've got to prop the rest of you guys up at a table, make you look good.
Yes.
That's my job. So yeah, I reckon probably rematch. I'd like to say I'll play a bit of Yakuza, do a bit of this, do a bit of that, but I know I won't. I'll sit in my pants playing Mario Kart while Mrs. Marathon Gaming feeds me grapes and cider. But I mean, that's just
Send
for
her up
one
north
man.
when she's finished, because I need that.
She's just whispered in my ear. Hold on. What's that, babe? Oh, sure. She wants to ask you a question.
Yeah, sure.
What do you hope to play, George?
No. Mrs. Marathon, let me regale you.
Other than play with her heart, baby.
I
No, you're getting married. Hold on, sorry.
And I
You can't
also
be doing
know
this
my
wife
limits.
swap thing.
I know
Yeah,
my
you
limits.
can't be doing that.
Look at me, pasty white.
Take your keys out the bowl.
They're back out. To be honest,
It's not this kind of party.
I've wiped them down with hand sanitizer. We're moving on. What am I hoping to play? I'll tell you what I'm hoping to play. I'm going to play a little bit of MLB. I think I'm going to play an awful lot of probably Cyberpunk. I think I'm going to continue my quest to test every Switch 1 game that I've got on the Switch 2. I might maybe even dust off a little. I don't know. I've got so many games on the go. I keep dipping in and out, and I'm like, no, calm down. I was thinking of having another go at Star Wars Outlaws, see if I can just bounce that DLC so I can let everyone know whether it's good or bad.
It's hard to concentrate in the heat, I think. In the heat, it's hard to concentrate.
Me and the Switch are going to go outside on a rug.
Yeah, indoors, outdoors.
Indoors, outdoors, and we're just going to lose ourselves. And
Yeah.
I think with that in mind, that's all we have time
Stay
for
hot.
this week.
Yeah.
Well,
Stay hydrated, I thought was, hydrate. It's good to say stay
Sunscreen.
hydrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hydration is key.
And that's all we have time for this week. Listeners, always thank you for your time. Look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Scott.
Thanks, mate. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you.